This episode is brought to you by Smitty's Beard Sauce. No beard required. Whether you're going with Smitty's Beard Scorcher, the Scotch Bonnet, the Ghost Pepper, or the Sweet and Spicy, just know this is the best damn barbecue sauce on either side of the Mississippi. Get yours at smittysbeardsauce.com. This episode is also brought to you by Nighthawk Footwear, the first and only gators equipped with lights in today's market. This, my friends, is a game changer for anyone that enjoys the outdoors. Light your path and get you a pair of lighted gators at lightedfootwear.com. What's going on, everybody, and welcome to episode 3 of Journeyman Outdoors. This is your host, as always, Ron Legal, and I got two special guests here, some South Florida locals. They're actually not too far from where we're at right now. They're from Loxahatchee, Florida. We've got Jonathan and Josh Pacheco, and I'm going to give you guys a little bit of time to get to know them real quick so they could introduce you guys and start from there, man. Whoever wants to go first.
Go for it. All right. What's up, Ron? How you doing? I'm Josh. We're originally born in Hialeah, Miami, Florida, and moved up to Loxahatchee before we became little rednecks and stuff like that. And, here we are eventually.
Yeah, man. For me, it doesn't differ much.
So if you guys don't know, they are twins.
Yeah.
So go ahead and put those Instagram tags out so everybody could give you guys a follow that's listening to the show.
Mine is at Rostamon John on Instagram.
Mine is at Cypress Thug.
So Josh has been actually following me for ever since I made my own personal outdoor page. So that's about 5 years now. And this is the first time that we're actually getting together and getting to have a full-on conversation and stuff. So we're just
wild.
It's been way too long in the making, so this is pretty dope. But yeah, so the things that we're going to talk to you guys today is a little bit about waterfowl in South Florida. Now, for those of you that haven't hunted South Florida, I'm just going to let you know right now what it's like. It's like being in the Amazon in the U.S. There's a ton of things that's just out there that could be a possible threat. Some that you could see, some that you can't. You guys are well aware.
That's for sure.
Being in these woods, man, you don't know what you're going to get. One day it could be a water moccasin. The next day it could be a black bear or a panther, depending on what part of the state that you're
all
hunting
of which
in.
I've seen.
Dude, the conditions here are just so rough that every time I go walking out, I'm like, wow, I really must like torturing myself. I just, I must like the abuse, or it must, I don't know what it is.
But we just keep coming back. There's
Exactly.
nothing out there that stops us from just making it happen, just getting out there and doing the damn thing.
Mm-hmm. Happy Flatlanders.
For sure.
Exactly.
So, what got you guys into duck hunting? Where did it all begin?
I'm gonna start, and for me, this is Josh speaking. I'm gonna start with my brother got me into duck hunting and kind of wing shooting, so I'll let him take it from here at that point.
Yeah. Well, for me, it was, I had started, I was going out to your WMA. I don't want to say any WMA. So I was going out to, our local WMA, and I was getting real sick of walking around, deer hunting. And I was getting sick of seeing the same trails and seeing the same stuff. And my buddy that I was hunting with, Eric, he was like, "Hey, want to go out to the STA and see if we can get in and shoot some ducks?" And I was like, "Yeah,
Why not?" Right?
He piqued my interest, and I was like, I had no clue what I was getting into. I didn't know a fucking thing.
It was downhill from there.
It was downhill. And he brought me out, and just seeing ducks, just actually seeing ducks and then finally getting to shoot one.
It's a different kind of rush, man.
I mean, I had gone out 2 or 3 hunts before I actually got to shoot a duck. And I was sitting in a canoe wearing blue jeans, not getting in the water or anything like that. And I was hanging out. Eric had walked off to another pond or something like that. And I was looking on my phone. I was getting a little bored. And I looked up and I was like, damn, that's a little too many decoys that we threw. I don't remember having that many decoys out there. You know?
That's funny.
And sure as shit, one of the decoys' heads moved, and I was like, that is not a decoy, you know?
It's go time.
Yeah. And
Is that one that I could take? You're
Yeah,
asking your boy like it's your first
it
time. You
doesn't
don't know what
help.
to expect.
It didn't help that it looked exactly like the decoys. So it's like, am I really looking at the right bird? You know? So I shot that bird, and from then on, I've been hooked, man. It's been like,
What was number one?
what in terms of species?
Yeah, in terms of species, what
Blue-winged
was?
teal hen.
Yeah,
Yeah. So
I feel like down here, that's everyone's first species.
yeah.
Blue-winged teal hen.
especially if you're starting early season, that's the majority of the ducks that you're going to see in the sky.
For sure. I mean, you got September early teal here.
Yeah, not a lot of people get that.
yeah.
No, we
I
have
mean,
a nice opportunity being able to do that.
Yeah, for sure. What I think as a whole, South Florida is just an underrated state, man. Like everybody's quick to say like, oh, the Arkansas or just tons of different states out there in the country, Louisiana and things like that. But you come down here, man, and you never know what you're gonna get. I mean, I've seen people shooting snow geese down here
Yeah,
in the middle
for
of
sure.
in the middle of the Everglades.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, I don't know if it's as much underrated as it is just unknown. 'Cause,
Right.
You know, people think of duck hunting they don't think of Florida as a destination for duck hunting.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, but people are going to think of Arkansas. People are going to think of Canada.
Oh, 100%.
People are going to think of California where you can shoot cinnamon teals, Texas and stuff like that. You know, people aren't going to think of Florida. They're going to be like, Florida, you might as well go freaking get on a charter.
Recently, a lot of people have started looking towards Florida because we get the black belly down here. We
Yeah.
get the fulvous whistler down
There's
here.
there's a
People
lot
are
of
like,
there's a lot of things that people aren't seeing in their states that are like, oh,
they're just popping up on the radar more or less, and people are like, damn, I want to go do that. You
Yeah.
know? That sounds cool.
and you know who I blame for that? Facebook, because there's so many different Facebook pages
Social
out
media
there.
in general, man.
Yeah,
There's
I mean,
so
as
many
a
different
whole,
things.
like everybody's like, you know what? What's going on in Florida? Let's see what's going on in their waterfowl world. See what they got going on.
I don't even have to go looking for it. It just pops up on my feed.
Yeah,
So, you know, I'm like, all I got to do is just be like interested in something that I'm looking at. That's how I figured out the long-tailed duck. That's like one of the number one on my species.
oh yeah,
'Cause
100%.
I really want to get that long-tailed duck. That's a really cool looking
Yeah,
duck, you know.
that thing is
It probably tastes
badass,
fishy
man.
as hell, you know, like most other sea ducks. But to me, that thing looks stellar, you know, and I want to go shoot that duck. And I discovered it scrolling through Instagram. I'm like, what kind of duck is this? And I showed my brother, oh, that's a long-tail. I'm like, where are we going to go to shoot that, man? Because I want to shoot that.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah. And that's one thing I really like about waterfowl. You know, it varies in species and varies in destinations that you got to go in order to get certain species.
Yeah, for sure.
So, I mean, you know, you're going to have to travel if you want some other species. If you want to get that 43,
Yeah.
you know, then you're going to have to go some other states because I would have never got, you know, maybe a greenhead if I didn't go to Arkansas because I don't know. I haven't heard of many people shooting any of them here. You know,
No.
very, very seldom.
The majority of the ones that I hear getting shot down are hybrids. They're not even full green.
Farm ducks
Yeah.
pretty much, you know, bred with mottled ducks and, you know, they look all funky and stuff like that. And they just, you know, hang out with models. Or they look like, they're pretty much Disney ducks is
Yeah.
what it is.
Yeah, Disney ducks is a good. I see them because the only place I see them are manicured ponds. You know, places where I work at.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
I see greenheads all the time, way down south. You know, like I was seeing greenheads in Dade County not too long ago. Excuse me, but
Yeah.
you'll never see them in the STA.
Yeah.
You'll never because they're fat, almost flightless like a Muscovy. You know, and they're just hanging out, waddling, eating bread
Just
like the
living
other
their
ones.
best life, man.
They
Like,
think they're Muscovies.
Yeah.
You know, they're just like, I'm an ugly duck like these other ones too.
so when it comes to duck hunting, what's the species? Well, you already kind of said which one's on your hit list, but what is your go-to when you're in South Florida? Well, if Florida as a whole, because you guys kind of hunted outside of your comfort zone here at home, you guys have traveled to different parts in the state, but what's your species that you'd like to go after the most?
Let me answer this with a different part answer, which is a more logical answer. Any duck that flies in front of me.
I hear
Yeah,
But-
if it's
but-
got a feet and a duck bill and it quacks, then that's my kind of duck.
Yeah, I hear you.
In all honesty, bro, I'm not really chasing the species. I'm chasing the spots. Where else can I shoot this duck?
Yeah.
Where else can I go? What new place can I find? Where can I adventure to? That's how I found my first wood duck. You know, we went to our spot and an undisclosed WMA because I'm not going to go spitting out spots.
Yeah, for sure.
But and I'll go over this with you, you know, off the record. But we went into this spot and I had pulled a quota for that spot for deer. You know, and we're like, damn, this is like completely new territory. I had went venturing out, I think, 2 seasons ago, and went on a limb and started applying for places that I just didn't know. What's this place? Apply for it. What's this place? Apply for it. You know, places that I had no idea where they were at.
Uncharted land.
Exactly. To me, that's what it was. And I started looking them up on the map after I had pulled them. Like, I can do that. I can swing that for a weekend. You know, I can afford it.
Yeah.
And we went out, and I started going out. It was probably late August, early September. So it was time to either, you know, start thinking about early teal or start thinking about deer. You know, and we were thinking about deer. We were walking around looking for deer. We were walking around. We were like, damn, there's a lot of tracks here. There's a lot of stuff here, you know, and we weren't even thinking about ducks. And Jonathan happened to be looking in the pond. We're walking. I'm looking at tracks.
Can't help yourself, man.
I'm always thinking about ducks. I don't know about him. We is him and the mouse in his pocket because ducks are always on my brain.
I mean, yeah, me too. But for what I was thinking about, I was thinking, where are the deer walking?
Yeah,
I'm looking
that's what
down.
you're there for, right?
Yeah, exactly. I was thinking about what I was there for. So I'm walking around, I'm looking, and John goes, "Oh, stop!" I'm like, what are you talking about? What do you mean stop? And I'm looking around looking for deer, and he points out to the pond in the sky, and I'm like, what? And I'm looking, and there's a cloud of wood ducks that go over this pond, and I'm like, oh my God, I don't think I've seen so many
drool
wood ducks.
started running down.
And I was like, all right, so we're definitely coming back here for
Oh,
whatever
100%.
reason. For whatever reason, it doesn't matter, deer, whatever it is. You know, if it's in season, I'm coming back here.
For sure.
And there's everything there. You know, everything that you can hunt in a WMA is there. So we ended up leaving and coming back, and we tried our deer. Didn't have it. We got there, and there was 100 people there in like a tiny, tiny piece of property, aside from the WMA that was part of the WMA.
Right.
And we were watching people with their electric bikes drive. We seen one guy eat shit.
Oh, dude, that was
the funniest thing ever.
I'm
And we
sorry,
laughed.
but
So he zoomed right by us.
I
and
laughed
he ate
so
shit.
hard. You know, I never been so pissed and so happy at seeing an e-bike all at once.
But during that hunt, we're sitting there, and we said, screw it, we're gonna go fall asleep in the woods somewhere. And we went and took our nap, and it occurred to me, I was like, damn, man, I hope none of these guys here can look into the pond and see any ducks, because I'm gonna be pissed if I come here and I run into thinking that I'm the only one on lock
That
with
you
this
found
spot,
this, yeah.
that I found this little honey
This
hole that
diamond
no
in the
one
rough.
else is exactly. And essentially, that's what it was: is that we found a diamond in the rough, and we heard shooting not far from when we finally did do the shooting. You know, we're like, damn, no one knows where this spot is.
Yeah.
No one has been here. There's wood ducks here. No one would have thought. And we're here, and I shot my first wood duck, and Eric was ecstatic. We were all ecstatic, man. I couldn't.
Dude, there's nothing like the feeling when you knock off just a new species on that list.
Dude, that is that.
Let me tell you a feature, and I'm going to thank my brother for this entirely. And my feat is, I think it was last season or the season prior. One of these last 2 seasons, because it's been a blur. But I knocked off in one season, thanks to my brother, 6 species.
Wow.
6 species in one season, because we were avid.
Yeah.
We people. I hear a lot, damn, bro, why are you driving so far? And my only answer to that is, why aren't you driving
Exactly.
so far?
Yeah.
You know?
I
For
tell
me-
people all the time, if I'm going somewhere, I'm going off the unbeaten path, man. I'm telling you, you're not going to find me where I'm going.
Yeah. I don't know what it is about hunting here. For me, it's way more intriguing than going out and traveling other states. And I mean, of course, you know, going to other states is always fun to hunt, you know, new stuff. But here, it's like, for me, it's like unmatched to any other state. Like, I can't compare it to any other state. To me, it's like, you know, this is my, you know, my, I don't know what I was.
My heaven looks like Florida.
Yeah,
My heaven
for
looks like
sure,
Florida.
man.
That's a good way to put it.
We're a little bit spoiled down here, man. Like, we're already the fishing capital of the world, but people don't realize that there's so much else that goes on here in Florida, not just South Florida, the state as a whole, besides fishing.
Right.
People that have been down here, you know, the majority of them, they're on vacation. They don't really go out there to the woods, and they're not really seeing what we're seeing. But they come down here, and they hear the stories about, oh, Florida's got dog-sized deer. There's no big deer. Blah 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 blah.
I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
Keep saying that.
Yeah.
Say that all you want. You can turn up the volume and say it again.
Like, what they don't realize is there is some studs out there. And I mean, not to get off topic of the ducks, but there's some things that people don't realize that's roaming in these woods, man.
Oh yeah.
100%. But when it comes to the ducks, like I was saying, like you said, you knocked off 6 species in one season.
Yeah.
What other state could you go to and say that?
I had that conversation with my brother, and I was thinking about it, and I think the only other state you could probably do that is Louisiana or Texas.
Right.
Where you can go way down south where the migration is going to wind up.
Yeah.
And that's the only thing that I could think of, because we get so many different ducks here. I shot widgeon, fulvus, whistler, widgeon, fulvus, green-winged teal, ringer, and mind you, I had just sort of been starting, so my brother put me on.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But it didn't take long for me to what we say in Spanish, ponerme la pila, put my batteries in and get with the program, And people were coming up to me like, hey bro, how many years have you been duck hunting? I'm like, I've only been duck hunting for I'm probably going on 4 years now. And people are like, damn man, you kill ducks like you've been killing ducks for 20 years, bro. And I'm like, this is just, I got with the program.
Yeah, you guys are out there putting the work in, man.
Exactly.
Like you said, you guys are hitting those unbeaten paths, the places that people wouldn't even expect to even
Go a
think
little
that there
bit
would
farther.
be a duck.
Go a little bit farther is my only advice when it comes to those kinds of things.
Yeah, 100%. If you're hunting down here ever, it doesn't matter what species you're going after, don't be 100 yards from the truck. Get out there and
I'm not gonna lie. We had a few times this last season where 100 yards from the truck was where the critters were at. This last turkey season, we went to a very local area that's bordering the area that you hunt.
Oh, okay.
If you can put 2 and 2 together, and we walked probably 2 miles looking for turkeys. This was our only turkey hunt. Stellar quota. You know what I'm saying? People are trying their life to pull this quota and don't pull it. You know what I'm saying? And Jonathan pulled it. He's like, I'm gonna rack up my turkey points and I'm gonna apply and I'm gonna pull that thing. And he pulled it.
Didn't shoot shit.
He didn't shoot shit. But put it to you this way: we walked 2 miles, man. When it said, screw it, we're gonna go back to the car and maybe see if we can put our boots on the ground in another spot. And we get back to the car and there's 7 turkeys on the grade right there where the car is parked.
that's how it always is.
Turkey hunting for me is deer scouting. It's just scouting season
For sure. It's a bittersweet
hunting.
season down here, man.
Turkey is frustrating, and I seeing my brother go through the frustration. I don't think I even went through half of it because I come up on turkeys are always there when I least expect them. They're always there when I least expect a turkey to be there. A turkey is right there. In my face.
100%.
There was one time in that same area where I happened to be scouting. We were looking for hogs. It was a wild hog still hunt, and I probably just blew that. But you can probably edit that and go. Beep.
Oh, 100%.
But it was one of those odd hunts, and we went out there, and it was right there, sitting in the middle of the trail. And I don't know what possessed me, but I'm like, I'm gonna see what happens if I run after him. And I ran after him, and I'll tell you one thing: I almost grabbed the tail feathers on one of them, but those things scattered like cockroaches. There was 20 of them there, and I was like, oh my god. And we didn't even go back to that spot this season. We were just so frustrated, especially after seeing 7 turkeys. In the bar. We were like, yeah,
that's a deal breaker right there, man.
Cake, man. That was another time, this last season where we were out deer hunting. We were muzzleloader hunting actually, and we're getting back to the truck. We walked miles, man. Where our asses are fucking whooped at this point, and we get to the car, and there's like a fucking 250-pound boar sitting right there at the trucks.
Looking at the trucks. Looking at the trucks.
At maybe even his reflection in the trucks is how close he is.
And we're like, it was an archery hunt, which is why we were standing there. We're like, with our bow and our archery. It was archery. Because if it was archery, I had told my brother if it was muzzleloader, that thing would be in the back of my car.
100%. Yeah. I got to knock this arrow. I got to put my wrist release back on or thumb release, whatever it was. But man.
That really shows you that the hunt isn't really over until you're in the fucking truck.
Oh, 100%. I tell people that all the time. Like, just like you said, when you guys got back to the truck, you saw all those turkeys. Man, there's that... This year there was that viral video about just got back to the truck, but you won't believe what you saw or whatever. And it's like a turkey just pecking this guy's truck. I'm sure there's a bunch of you that have seen this video that I'm talking about. I mean, it was making its rounds, but yeah, man. I mean, like you said, it's not over until you're in the truck. 100%, especially down here.
I had probably about 10 people, and most of these people were at the Delta Waterfowl. Shout out to Delta Waterfowl.
Oh, we're gonna get to that.
Yeah, shout out to Stacy
for sure.
We were at this little Getty that they had for sort of the beginning of it, and we were talking about that, and probably about 10 people there said, "Why didn't you shoot?" And I was like, "I didn't want to shoot my car," and they said they would have shot their car. I was like, "I'm not gonna this thing. I haven't had this thing for a year. I'm not gonna shoot my car."
Right.
Listen, I'm a diehard hunter, but I'm not gonna flip and walk around or drive around with a broken glass all the time just to remind me that was for one turkey.
Yeah, no. Definitely don't want to do that.
Mm-mm.
When it comes to let's bring it back to the ducks. When it comes to duck hunting, what is your go-to calls during duck hunting?
I don't have any kind of brand.
The cheap ones. Cheap ones. Get good at calling.
Yeah.
Get good at calling before you start. I spent for the first time at the Outdoor Expo, which was a great event, by the way. But for the first time at the Outdoor Expo, I spent, I think, more than $25 for a duck call. Because I went to Bass Pro, and there's plenty of duck calls at Bass Pro. And we also went to Max Prairie Wings, which is amazing. If you ever get a chance to go to Max Prairie Wings in Arkansas, that is a duck hunter's. You could stay there for hours looking at everything.
Yeah.
But
listen, if I could stay there and sleep there and just look at the stuff, I would. Because it's unbelievable the amount of shit that they have there.
But as a hunter, and I'll hunt until I'm in the dirt. You know what I'm saying? Needless to say, I don't think I'm ever going to spend $500 on a duck call. Like what I seen at Max Prairie Wings. You know, there's stupid price, and I get it. You know, there's some collector's items. You know, some people have the money for it. You know, I guess, hey, if you want to buy it, go ahead. But
I'm a budget hunter, man.
Me too, all the way. You know, budget.com.
I think for me, the max I'm going to spend on a call at this point right now in my life is probably maybe $150.
Oh yeah, but I spent $70 on a call at the expo.
Yeah,
and that was because they were neat. They were like designer, you know. They were kind of unique. They had their own spin on them. The guy came all the way from Arkansas. What's $70 for a duck call that he might not come back to the expo next year? You know, who knows? I'm gonna give him $70, you know, and make it worth it. I bought it. I love the duck call because the way it looks, it sounds great. You know what I'm saying? But honestly, I think $70 is I thought about it for a while. Yeah. I thought about it for a while, spending that $70.
Yeah, we walked through there twice. And we were like, we got back to him. We're like, we're definitely going to buy one. Because
hopefully he comes back. You know, I'd spend more money there, but, you know, they're more novel. Some of you can, and I have mine on my lanyard, but they're more novelty. You know, some of them have like Crown Royal designs on them of every flavor crown.
Yeah.
Some of them have the Copenhagen of every flavor Copenhagen.
Yeah, mine. I bought one that had a twisted T. You know, it looked like a twisted T, so that's why I bought it.
I honestly, now thinking about it, I don't even remember which one I bought. Mine is purple and yellow, and it's cool. It's cool. I bought it.
At that point, when you were like, all right, I could accept that I'm going to spend $70 on this call.
Dude, but that's about as much. I think that set my limit. I think that set my limit about what I'm going to spend for a duck call.
That was a pretty big move for me. Spending $70 on a fucking duck call was very big because I could have gone to Bass Pro
and bought 3 calls.
And bought 3 calls for the same price from Duck Commander, because who doesn't love Duck Commander? Somebody sees a Duck Commander call and they're not going to fucking bash it or anything.
I've got plenty of Duck Commander calls, man.
I mean, but I bought it because of the twisted T, really. It was cool.
Like, this looks pretty badass. Why not?
It'll make my friends laugh in the blind. You know,
essentially that's why I bought mine, because I thought it was cool.
Yeah,
you know. But as far as calls, speaking of calls, at the bottom of my lanyard, this year I'm trying out a, I don't know where I think I got it in Missouri, but I have a rabbit call, dying rabbit call. So it sounds horrendous. It sounds like, you know, like a dying pig. But,
all the coyotes come out.
I've started to make some noises with it and started to think, you know, I think I'm going to use it and try it for a wood duck call and see what I can do with it. You know,
yeah, because for those of you that don't know, a wood duck, it sounds like a whine.
Yes, is what it sounds like. And this rabbit call, I can sort of make that noise with it. So I'm gonna try to find a wood duck hole and give it a shot and see if I can make it. Listen, I'll be successful at that hunt if I can make them turn their head at least.
Exactly.
If I can make them turn their head, I'll be happy. Even if I don't shoot it, I'll be happy.
Hey,
I'll be unhappy if I don't shoot it.
Yeah.
But if it turns its head, I know the call works. I ain't gotta buy no wood duck call for at least a year.
For me, as long as it sounds good, it doesn't really matter. Mostly, what I find that works is mallard calls.
Yeah.
Because just
You
like
can't go wrong with
everywhere,
a good old mallard
just
call.
like everywhere else, if it's going to turn a mottled duck's head, a mallard's head, it's probably going to turn around another duck's head.
Oh, yeah.
One of the coolest things to me about duck hunting, when you call,
and you get that reaction.
Listen, sometimes you're going to call your first few times you're going to call. It's going to sound really bad, and this is all. It doesn't
matter who you are, man. Everybody goes through it.
It's all from experience.
Don't even be embarrassed.
Exactly. You're going to go through it. Something you're going to hear laughing from a few hundred yards behind you. That guy don't know. But when you see that duck's head turn, and maybe if it doesn't come into the spread, because sometimes you get the icing in the cake and its head turns, it does a loop, and you don't expect it, and it comes back in your spread. You're like, that's that duck that you called.
Yeah, a duck that you can call in that instead of that lands in your spread because you called it, compared to a duck that's just flying over and
it's a totally different feeling, man.
Dude, it is so rewarding.
I should have brought by the mounts. We should have brought by the mounts so you can see them. But the widgeons that we shot, we have one widgeon that we shot in one location and two that we shot out of another location. And the goal was to get two mounted. Apparently the guy who mounted it didn't really understand that, and I didn't understand either. I didn't know you could.
Was this your first wood duck mount that you guys got?
No, it wasn't a wood duck. It was I got a ringer mounted that I posted a picture of. I don't know if you've seen it. And we got the three widgeons.
Oh, the widgeons, yeah.
And the three widgeons, one is from one area and the two are from another area. But I thought, I was trying. The two hens were stellar hens. They both were good looking. And I was under the impression that you could harvest parts from one duck and use it for the taxidermy of another duck. Feathers, whatever it may be. I was just giving him the duck. He wound up mounting all three. So I was like, all right, I'm paying all four. Yeah. So I'm like, so I wound up paying a pretty penny on four ducks. Yeah, screw it. You already mounted them. So whatever. I bought them. But what was really cool about, speaking of calls, what was really cool about the widgeon is that in the location that we were at, we were actually having a really good morning, seeing a lot of ducks. It was the beginning of the second split of the season. I think it was actually maybe the first or second weekend. And we're in our spot and we see a lot of ducks, and our buddy Joe, who's a meathead, he's always distracted, but it's always cool when Joe starts paying attention. Start paying attention. Something's gonna happen.
Something's up.
One of those guys that you bring out, you don't even care if you shoot something. You know that if you bring him out, it's gonna be a fucking good time.
Yeah,
he's one of those guys.
Exactly. That's Joe Mack for you. So Joe was like, "Hey, I seen two ducks land over there," and we're sitting there with our little whistles going, because we seen some widgeons flying in the stratosphere.
Yeah,
they're way up there.
Tiny little dots.
And we're trying to call them, like, whatever, they fly way south. We're like, those things are going to the Keys.
Yeah.
And we're sitting there, and we're sitting there, and Joe goes, "Hey man, there's two ducks over here." And I'm like, I look, and they land way out behind us. And we're like, oh man, those things are way out there.
Yeah, they're not even going to pay
they're
attention
not
to
paying
what we
attention
got.
to us. And I was like, Joe, just stay paying attention to those ducks. And he's like, oh, all right. And we're over here shooting other ducks. We're over here shooting blue wings. Moths are coming in. Those we're not even paying attention to those other ducks.
Yeah.
And Joe goes, they picked up. And that's all it took for us to completely scramble like it was DEFCON 4.
It's go time, boys. This is the moment we've been waiting for.
Exactly. We're sitting there, and unbeknownst, I mean, we knew they were widgeon, but we didn't. We're like, those things are going to stay over there and taunt us the entire morning. There's no shot. Dude, the coolest thing is that we're sitting there whistling. And we're just trying to get their attention. They're there for like 15 minutes eating, paying no mind to us.
Yeah.
They get up and beeline right for our spread and land feet down right in our spread.
Doesn't get any better than that.
It looked like they hit a brick wall when they hit our spread. I'll tell you.
For me, it was bittersweet because I was chasing. That was one of the number one birds, if not the number one bird on my species, on my list for quite a few years already.
Yeah.
And
he shot the drake. And he shot the drake.
Yeah, but the weekend prior, we had an STA hunt. I think it was me, you, and Kenny or Wade.
Both of them. We had two permits.
We had two permits. So
Me and you had a permit. Yeah.
So we had 4 guys with us, you know, and we were hunting all the same spot, and everybody shot their widgeon besides me. So I was like, oh my god.
I shot my hen.
Home that
Kenny
weekend.
shot his hen. Wade shot his hen.
Everybody was getting a piece.
I went home that weekend with full straps, but I never felt so defeated in my life because
Everybody else got theirs and you didn't get yours. That's tough.
Talk about feeling defeated with a full strap, like he said. Wow,
that's terrible.
You got 6 ducks and you still feel down. Damn.
Yeah.
Those are blues.
That's when you know it's bad, man.
Yeah, dude.
But like you said, that was your number one hit lister.
The following weekend, I could have cried.
That's when it went down. The next weekend.
Yes, the following weekend, I could have cried in that blind because of that. It was just bittersweet.
Yeah.
Joe's a great camera. He's not a great cameraman. You know, he has the shot. He has great timing.
Right.
Joe's great timing with the camera. So it was bittersweet. We got good pictures.
You guys got it on film?
I think us shooting, I don't know if we got it on film, but us going out, grabbing them, picking them up, all the way back to the blind, being stoked, he got it all on camera. Yeah. So it was cool.
There's nothing like looking back on those memories, man. Like
I love that, bro. I wish
I'd try to document everything.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I wish there was a life picture frame. You know what I'm saying? Something you can put on the wall, closet sized, and walk into and see these
and just relive everything, full size.
Yeah,
put you right there in the moment.
How cool would that be?
That would be dope for sure.
Yeah, that would be cool.
So we were talking about this a little bit before the show started. Let's talk about ammo.
Oh man,
what's everybody going with on ammo these days?
Cheap ammo. I like cheap. I like my go-to ammo is ammo that isn't low brass. For some reason, I just don't like low brass.
Yeah,
you know, people shoot low brass, no problem. I don't like low brass. You know, I also, as a disclosure, I also shoot, you know, a nearly 70-year-old gun. I shoot Savage. I don't even know the fucking name of it. Savage 720, I believe. Yeah, it's a Savage 720 or 700 or something like that, and it works.
Yeah,
I shoot Winchester dry lock. Yeah, I shoot Walmart ammo.
I've seen this gun on his Instagram, guys, and he's not bullshitting. This thing's like 50 years old.
I'll send you a picture of it. That way you can put it on your page.
And he slams the fucking ducks with this thing, man.
I shot with that gun, not with that gun. Maybe I shot, I'd say 5 of the 6 species I shot in 1 year, in 1 season, and knocked off the list. I shot with that gun.
With a 50-year-old gun.
Yeah. And then the other gun, like I was saying earlier, I start out the season, I might suck, but it gets me not using so much ammo because you can burn up ammo, man. You'll burn up in a weekend of hunting straight, especially if you have 3 different spots, you'll burn up a case without realizing, especially if the shooting's good.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So in the start of the season, I pick up, it's crazy. People look at me crazy, but I pick up my 20 gauge, it's some sort of Turkish arms, but it's a 20 gauge turkey gun with an extra full choke. You know, and if I can hit something with that with 1 shot, I'm conserving ammo and I'm shooting. I'm shooting. I'm a sniper.
A 20 gauge with a full choke,
extra full choke,
extra full.
And not only that, people. I found the knack to is that everyone that I'm hunting with, whoever I'm hunting with, my brother, anybody, we'll be hunting with 3 of us, and everyone will shoot their shells. You know, 3 shells there, 3 shells there, 3 shells there, and I'm the last one to shoot. I still have that 1 shell, and everyone missed their ducks, and one duck. 1 shot right out of the sky, right?
No, not out of the sky, out of the fucking stratosphere.
Yeah. I've shot ducks
with a 50-year-old gun.
I've not with the 50-year-old gun.
We're still talking about the
20 gauge. The 20 gauge is newer. It's a youth turkey gun, is what it is. And I'll tell you what, man, I do when I'm in tight spots, tight spaces, you know, tight hunting. I like using that. But Jonathan hates it because sometimes he won't be wearing his ear protection. Nobody will be wearing. You know, it's easy
to swing that around the blind, and he just fucking follow a duck. He'll lead a duck all the way to my ear, right to my ear, and then he'll just freaking.
That's hey, when you hunt with that gun, that's the loudest gun you're gonna hunt.
Yeah,
that's the loudest gun you're hunting with. They're gonna shoot. Everyone's gonna shoot their Magnum, their 3.5. I don't care what you're shooting. I'm gonna shoot a 2. I can shoot a 3-inch out of that. I shoot a 3-inch out of that, man. You guys are looking at each other. It's gonna be like shell shock. Someone's gonna be saying something, and you're not gonna hear anything.
Yeah, he's shot that thing right by me. He's the reason why I started wearing ear protection. Although you should always wear ear protection.
Yeah, for sure. I'm big on protecting the ears.
I'm getting into it because I ran an airboat for nearly 5 years every day, and when I got off that towards the end of that stint running the airboat every day, I was doing vegetation management. by the way, so if anybody didn't know. In the end of that 5 years, man, my brother was saying stuff to me. I'm going, what? Like an old man. What? Huh? What? And he was like, did you not hear me? I'd walk by and he'd say something, and I completely disregarded him. So yeah, I like the idea of ear protection. It kind of sucks sometimes. It really does.
Yeah.
You know, you can't be perfect on it. But
Yeah.
if you want to protect your ears, you know, sacrifice, it'll maybe make you a better shot, you know, but plugs, at least put some earplugs in.
Yeah, it doesn't matter
know?
if they're cheap ones. Well, you know.
No, you only going to learn the hard way if you don't just put them in.
Yeah.
You know,
And
because
long term,
I learned the hard way.
It's not worth it.
If you spend from the beginning to the end of a duck season not wearing ear protection,
Oh, you're gonna feel it by the time it
end
ends.
of the duck season, I swear to God,
You're like, what?
You have those. I mean, I've gone through it. This is one reason why I wear ear protection, because you go through those your ears ringing randomly. You go through not hearing people. You go through, you know, deafness. And it gets
It's
scary.
serious.
It gets scary, and you're like, yeah, I'm gonna fucking put ear protection on. It's
As
just
far
not-
as the
nothing to
type
fuck
of ear
around with.
protection, lately we've been using the. It's nice to use those earmuffs that you can hear everyone talk through. Like,
Yeah.
That have mics on them. You know, those are really nice to use.
Oh, for sure.
They do press on your ears. You know, what I like to use that I've noticed is probably the most comfortable. But anything in your ears or on your ears is going to be uncomfortable after
Oh yeah,
2 hours, 3 hours, whatever it is. It doesn't matter what it is. If it's in or on your ears, it's going to be uncomfortable. Just like glasses. You know, it takes a while to learn how to wear glasses every day, especially here in South Florida. You know, people that know what I'm talking about know what I'm talking about. You get those headaches. You know, you have those tight spots on your
aches,
ears,
yeah,
those
the
aches
aches
on
you
your,
got on your
on your
ears.
ears and on your nose, on the bridge of your nose. You get the same thing with ear protection. But one thing that I learned how to start using ear protection with is I got an old set of headphones that stopped working. They were DeWalt brand headphones. You'd buy Home Depot or whatever it was.
Yeah.
And they go right around your neck, and you charge them with a USB-C or whatever. You know, they stopped working after a while. You know, I'd use them for work.
Right.
And, you know, I just start bringing those with me and throwing them on my neck, you know, forgetting them. I'd throw them on my neck when I left the house. So
Yeah.
I wouldn't even think about them. You know, I'd throw them on my neck.
Get out there,
And
you're
the
ready to go.
The only time they would bother me as far as getting out there is when they get wrapped up in my duck calls and my lanyard.
Yeah.
But as far as that, you know, I'd hear one or two shots and be like, oh shit, let me put my ear protection in. I'd put those buds in, and I'd forget that I had ear protection in at least for an hour or two, and save myself so many times of people shooting, you know, above my head and ringing my bell, you know?
Yeah. That's a good way to put it.
Exactly. Yeah, it's no joke, man. I mean, especially this guy with that 20 gauge. So the barrel's so short on it. It's a
Oh,
used
yeah.
gun that when he's swinging it around and shooting it, and
Yeah,
the
shit, it's like an
barrel's right
18-inch barrel.
That's insane. Yeah. That's
don't
8
even-
inches smaller.
Yes, dude. You don't even hear the blast. You just feel the percussion. You just hear. Wee.
Yeah. It's like
Instant shell shock.
yeah.
That was definitely one reason why I got my ear protection. I was like, yeah, if I'm hunting with this guy, I'm definitely putting my ear protection.
After that weekend, I had switched to my 12 gauge, and the sun is rising. We see some ducks fly, and I see him putting some ear protection on, and I start laughing my ass off. He's like, I'm not letting that shit happen again. I'm not letting that shit happen again.
I got him back. I think a following weekend or something like that.
After that, I started wearing ear protection. I was like, oh man, that
It's a
shit
quick
rubbed- it
reality
rubbed-
check
Dude,
for
those
sure.
headaches are no joke.
Yeah, it's serious.
Especially if there's good shooting going on, you're gonna
Good
leave there.
shooting. You got the Florida heat beating down on you, man. Oh, you're gonna feel it.
Oh, for sure, no doubt.
Because the
about
heat,
it.
you're guaranteed a headache by the end of the day if you're hunting down here.
Yeah.
It's just kicking your ass by the end of the day. So
My rebuttal to that is to the heat is hydration, man. There's days, especially at work, you know, when you're working, you end up drinking more because you have it more available to you. But I caught myself these last 2 weeks, bro, drinking nearly a gallon of water a day.
Yeah.
You know, at the end of the day.
down here,
And
it's
looking at my
mandatory.
gallon of water and being like, whoa, that's a lot of water. Not that it's a bad thing or anything. It's good. It's good to drink a lot of water.
Yeah.
And then wintertime comes around, you drink like 2 bottles of water the whole day.
it's a big difference down here for sure. We were talking about it a little bit off air about the weather thing. We'll come back to the ammo thing in a little bit, but yeah, what people don't realize is, like I was saying to you guys, the cold down here is different, man, because we got so much humidity. Like, people don't realize our humidity down here is usually between 30 and 100% year round.
Yeah,
It
that's without a doubt. During the wintertime, there's some days where it'll get down to like, we'll say 50 degrees,
Yeah.
which is not that cold in other places. I've
Nope.
been shirtless 50 degrees in Missouri,
Yeah, it's
around a
totally
bonfire
different.
and you're sweating,
Yep.
But I've been in the woods 50 degrees and it's 70% humidity and you're freezing your ass off.
Yeah.
You're like, oh my God, why is it so cold? And not to mention what we were talking about earlier, that you walk, you get hot. It's hot. You sweat. It doesn't matter how cold it is. It doesn't matter how hot it is. You walk, you're going to sweat. You're going to sit down and you're going to cool down in your tree stand. And when you get cold, you're going to freeze your ass off.
Oh, 100%, man. It's
I don't
rough
know.
down here.
I'd much rather sweat my ass off than freeze my ass off any day of the week.
Yeah, I much rather deal with the heat that we deal
It's
with
way
down
easier
here.
to me, it's way easier to regulate my body temperature here. I go to Missouri and I'll hunt. By the 4th day of hunting deer in Missouri, I'm kind of like hesitant. I'm leaving the bed late. You know what I'm saying? I'm getting out into the woods at 7:30 and shit like that. And the cold takes more of a toll on me. I guess I'm just more used to it. We're island boys.
The thing is, you guys were born down here, right? You said, yeah. So our blood is like super thinned out, man. We go to these other states and we're like, all right.
Oh, I'm a sissy.
Everybody's in shorts and freaking flip flops, and we're layered up.
I'm 27 years old. I seen snow for the first time last year.
Yep.
That was cool.
You know what?
Put it
Don't
to you
even
that
feel
way,
bad
yeah.
because, like I was telling you guys before, I used to travel for work all the time, and my first time ever seeing snow was just 2 years, or actually 3 years ago.
Yeah.
And it was the craziest thing ever. Being a Florida boy, never seeing that, and you get to Ohio, and you
got caught in a blizzard while you were on your way up there.
Yep,
Didn't you? Yeah,
I
I
did.
remember seeing that. I was like, this guy is fucking wild. He must be tripping.
Yeah, it was insane, man. But yeah, I mean, the cold down here just hits different. You're just that.
It's a wet cold. You can feel it.
Yeah, it's sending just a shockwave through your bones instantly. The second that you step out of that truck or that whatever you're in, you're gonna feel it.
Not to mention, for anybody that hunts down here, you're gonna know it doesn't matter what you hunt. You're gonna touch water.
Yeah,
And there's gonna be cold mornings. You're gonna touch that water, and you're gonna touch it with your feet or your toes or your ankles. And you're going to feel those chills all the way up to the back of
Like
your neck.
abuela used to say, el frío entra por los pies.
Yeah, exactly. The cold enters through your feet.
Yep.
Exactly. You're gonna feel that shit. You're gonna have second thoughts. But you know what? What gets me through it is those second, third, fourth, fifth steps. Be like, all right, it's not that bad.
yeah. You just push through it.
Yeah,
you don't have a choice, man. And when you're in God's country and you're just out here, like we got views like no other, man. Like just being in the swamps, just being in the cypress bottoms, wherever you may be in this state, it's just dope, man. You're not going to get a view like that anywhere else in the country.
I was walking through the woods today, and I remember walking through a puddle, and I was like, damn, this water is so freaking hot. It's like a jacuzzi.
Yeah.
Welcome to Florida.
Dude,
Exactly.
I walked through my location where I was walking through today, man, and I didn't hit a drop of water. I was so surprised.
That's a first.
Like, wow. I mean, I did hit it. I had to cross canal, so you're never gonna get away from the water.
Yeah.
But
Give it a few weeks.
Yeah.
It'll be shin high water. there in a few
Rain
weeks.
season has been hammering us down here.
It was
it came
pouring
in
there
today.
when we left.
Oh yeah, I was. We left, and I was like, all right, maybe Jonathan will get, because I was trying to throw the paddle board on his truck, and I was like, maybe he'll get here before the rain. He's like, I just passed the rain. Has the rain hit you? And I'm like, no, it looks like it's gonna pass right by us.
Bullshit.
Yeah, I spoke too soon. Bullshit. Yeah. And he got there, and we're sitting there, we're waiting, and we're talking through cracks in the window in a monsoon, and we're trying to do sign language through the windows through two different vehicles, and we said, screw it. I'm just going to get soaked and throw the paddleboard on his truck.
I mean, this time of season,
And it still gets cold when you get those rain showers. It goes from 95 degrees down to like 70 degrees, and you're fucking freezing your ass off by the time you get your back in your truck.
Here.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I think the biggest factor of it is that your body runs so hot already. You're trying to cool down, and you tried so hard. Your body has tried so hard to cool down. Then that rain shower comes in, and you're like, thank God. By the end of the rain shower, you're like, oh my God, why is it raining?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just that time of year, man. You can't avoid it.
And that humidity, man, that'll affect your ammo too.
Oh, yeah. For
yeah.
sure.
Yeah.
It'll rust out quick.
I don't know. It hasn't happened to me. Maybe it's happened to me once or twice. But I can't think of it where I've actively, truly missed a duck because of humid ammo. But for sure, I've been next to Jonathan, and it goes click, and he goes, beep.
Yeah, dude. There's been some days where I'll go out, early teal. It's still summer practically. It's still summer.
Yeah, we only get 2 seasons here, spring and summer.
And
Yep,
I,
that's
I
it.
remember one instance. I remember one instance one year where I must have had 3 shots back to back. It was hot, muggy day. It just finished raining. I think we were at an afternoon hunt on one of the STAs, and I must have had 3 shots back to back that were all duds, straight from Walmart that I had
Heartbreaker.
just got. And I was like, "There's no way that these are defective. It's got to be the humidity." And sure as shit, it must have been like. Sometimes I'll be able to take the shell out of the box from sitting in, out in back of the truck or something like that. And you'll look at it and you'll see the moisture inside the shell.
Yep.
Oh yeah, you'll see it'll look like Jello inside your shell.
Yeah.
You'll see all the pellets pressed up to the plastic and shit
Yeah.
like that.
Or sometimes you'll see like your
It looks vacuum sealed,
Yeah.
essentially, is what it looks like.
Yeah, I've seen it before leaving my ammo in the truck. It's
Yeah.
it's insane.
sometimes with those rain showers, your cells freaking condense. Keep them in a waterproof. You open it up, from the hot, from the cool air.
Yeah, that's the
from
worst
rain.
part. Why is it that dry boxes you open up and they don't get dry after
Yeah.
the condensation?
Not in Florida.
No, you open them dry boxes. It's like, what dry box?
Yeah, for real.
Dry box
All
where?
all the sweat.
Yeah, that's why a part of me never spent. I started with the old little Walmart, plastic ammo boxes and shit like that.
Yeah,
I was like, all right,
cheap
this
stuff.
This will keep my shit relatively dry. If a rainstorm comes around,
Yeah,
it's
it'll
gonna,
get the job done.
It's gonna stay dry. There's not gonna be a lick of water in there. And then I started realizing, like Jonathan was saying, with the condensation, you open that thing up and the whole thing is wet.
Yeah,
Like,
your shells are already sweating.
they're
Yeah.
sweaty as hell, and you got to wait for the sun to rise to get that condensation off, to dry it off. And that essentially is what kept me from buying, a $400 or $500 Plano box for whatever reason.
Right, yeah,
I'm not going to
that's-
buy. The only reason I'm going to buy an expensive Plano box, which by the way, I'm going to go to Harbor Freight and buy those $70 or $80
Hercules ones or whatever.
Yeah,
whatever
some
brand it is,
off-brand.
and that's what I'm going
It's
to
gonna do
use.
the
If I
same
have to
damn
fly,
thing.
exactly. If I have to fly and I have to fly my gun somewhere, that's going to be the case.
Yeah.
I'm going to fly my gun there with those cheapo cases.
Just
I'm all
like
for
we
cheap
said,
shit.
man. Budget hunters, man.
Exactly.
That's why we're all on the same page.
Like for this last season was the first season I shot like really expensive shells. The only reason I shot them is because I was given to me for as a Christmas gift. So I asked for them because I know I wasn't going to spend the money. So I was like, if you get me a box of these shells, I'd be all right with that.
Yeah.
And I ended up getting a box of the Boss 3. I think it was 3-inch Boss mixture of 3 and 5s.
Yeah.
So those are, if I'm not mistaken, those are tungsten plated, copper plated tungsten. So they pretty much, I don't understand what it is, but I finally started seeing a difference in my shells.
Yeah.
I'm sorry for the guy who bit into one of those and nearly broke his tooth at the waterfowl thing.
Yeah.
I made pulled duck, and that was the only pellet that made it through, man, was
Yeah.
that. And listen, all of the steel shot that we were shooting blew right through the ducks.
Yeah.
It did not stick around.
And that's one
I
thing
shredded
I'll-
the duck, but that one pellet I guess made it through, and that one guy made a sandwich out of that pulled duck, which was amazing pulled duck.
Yeah, and that's
And-
one
and
thing
he
about
bit down on
that's one thing about the shells that a lot of people will argue a long ways about good shells. Like the Boss, I was really impressed on how they shot and how they performed with my gun and stuff like that. How every duck that I shot with the Boss, it was a dead duck.
Yeah,
if
they're
I
not-
didn't miss because of my own, if there was a duck behind the bead of my gun, it was dead.
Yeah.
It
And-
seems to me like
And that's what everybody wants.
right.
Yeah.
It seems to me like I didn't see that they were. I don't think it was flying faster. It might have been flying a little bit faster because he was shooting 3-inch shells.
Yeah. It's
But
getting
what
there
I
a
was
lot
seeing
quicker.
for sure is that it was the patterning to the combination of metal that he was using was definitely much more consistent.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Which is good, but don't use my opinion of that. That's not going to change my opinion. Cheap shells.
Me either. I don't
Cheap
think
shells.
me using Boss shells will not change my opinion of cheap shells because if you're hunting right and you're getting those ducks down onto your decoys, then you're gonna shoot it.
Oh,
and
yeah.
it's gonna die.
Yeah, for sure.
Doesn't matter. You could freaking throw a blow dart at it and it'll die at that.
Speaking of, which is something that I experienced different in Arkansas than I did anywhere else. it seemed like this guide we had ducks literally, what I felt were putting their feet in our faces. You know what I'm saying? And he was still telling us not to shoot them.
He was telling us to hold out.
Hold out. I'm seeing ducks.
In
I'm like,
Florida, this thing wouldn't stand a chance.
Dude, I could have totally killed that if it was 2 times higher than that. I could have totally shot that, you know? But I guess that's the way they hunt out there, you know. Everywhere that I hunt in public land, I don't know about you, but I'm seeing people, you can watch them.
Yeah.
You can see them shooting a quarter mile away. You know, you'll see the duck and you'll know more or less where the people are standing after hearing them shoot a few times. And you'll see that duck and be like, dude, that duck is in another county shooting at it.
Yeah.
When it comes to cheap ammo, what are you guys typically going with?
I like Winchester dry lock.
Yeah, Winchester Super X.
Yep, Super X is what I use
Winchester's pretty consistent. They're always changing the names of every year they change. They're like, I guess it's a marketing gimmick. They're coming out with a new name of it. It's all the same shit.
Just to switch things up a bit.
But if it's the same price, it's the same shit. If you ask me. Yeah. But it runs good in my gun. You know, I very rarely have moisture in my shells. And for an old gun, like I said, like I'm shooting, it cycles very well.
Yeah,
high brass is my go-to.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I like. Some days, if I feel spicy, I'll put 3.5-inch shells. I'll bring a box of 3.5-inch.
He'll wait till either the very, very beginning, the first opening day, or towards the end of the season, where he can say, "I can shoot all of them because I gotta buy new ones."
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, I'm not gonna let them sit. I've already got too many sitting right now because we didn't shoot enough.
Speaking of, man, we have so many 20-gauge turkey shells sitting because we don't shoot shit.
Dude, it's the same way on my end, man. It was a tough season. It was a heartbreaker for me, so I get it. So let's get back to the Boss. Would you buy him again?
Absolutely 100%. I don't know if I would buy them. They're kind of expensive. I'm cheap as shit, man.
Now listen,
I'm a cheap motherfucker. So when it comes to it, if when Christmas comes around, I'm asking everybody. I'm asking everybody for Bosch shot cells.
let me add to that. Cheap, but we shoot shit. Cheap, but we kill. But when it comes down to the equipment, man, listen, get off the couch, go out there. It doesn't matter what you're using. It doesn't matter.
As long as you get out there.
As long as you're gonna
that's the most important.
You're gonna see. There's gonna come a point where, let's say, you're a little bit more experienced. And you're with someone who's less experienced, and they see the cool ass gun that you have, you know, and they're like, "Damn, man, I have this piece of shit from Walmart, whatever the fuck it is, you know, whatever brand it could be."
Yeah.
and you're gonna come to a point where the more experienced person isn't walking with the gun, and the less experienced person has the gun in their hand, and the less experienced person is gonna realize this is gonna shoot a bullet or a gun or a round, whatever it's gonna shoot. It's gonna shoot no different than the other one. You know, you're gonna send a round downrange. You're gonna take your chances because you have a gun in your hand. It could be a hog, it could be a pig, a duck, whatever it is, a gator. Excuse me, whatever you might be shooting it with. You're gonna shoot. It's not gonna matter when the thing is in front of you and it's time to shoot. It doesn't matter how many dollars
you're not
paid.
Gonna
it's
think
gonna
twice.
be who's shooting it and who's hitting it. Because I don't know how many times I've been out there with my 70-year-old gun shooting, and there's people out there with $2,000, $3,000 shotguns getting stumped, and I'm coming out with a strap over my shoulder. You know, so that's my advice. It doesn't start small, man. Especially if you can't. There's a lot of people that. I tell them, especially I like inviting new hunters, people who don't know shit, you know, because those are the good people to mold. Those are good.
There's
people
nothing
to start.
better than getting somebody out there and getting them on their first duck, man, because they're hooked after that.
Exactly, and they're like, no, it's too much. I don't have enough money to start. You know, it's a lot of equipment. And I tell them, listen, I have everything. I can even loan you my gun. We can go out and I don't have to shoot.
Yeah,
you can shoot. You know, or at least watch me shoot and see how exciting and how cool it is. You know, but it doesn't matter that don't. Start little, you know, start with a shotgun.
Yeah, you don't have to jump straight into a Benelli or something crazy.
Exactly. You know, my laws have changed a lot now, but my go-to when it come to guns was guns that came to me offered by people who happen to be selling them. You know what I'm saying? So here, I'm not really brushed up on the laws. I don't know how legal it is for you to buy someone without an FFL, buy a firearm without an FFL, you know, through a private transaction.
Right.
But, you know, back in the day, I've bought quite a few of them. You know what I'm saying? And those are the guns that have turned out the best for me. Guns that have landed on my lap. Because those are the guns that you're offered. You know, you're offered them for $100. There's guns that I've been offered to trade for a kayak. I got offered a 22 to trade for a kayak. I ended up selling it, and I dream about that gun. I still regret it to this day. It was a 22 It was like a Marlin. No, it wasn't like it was a Ruger version of a Marlin. It took a bunch of rounds in it. You could shoot 30 rounds out of the little tube clip that it has.
Yeah,
it was a great gun. And I still regret shooting. And the person who has it still has it. He said, "I'm never getting rid of it." And I was like, "Damn it."
Yeah.
So get what you can get and go hunt with that. Now I'm not saying don't go buy a slingshot. Don't go real cheap, but buy something logical. You gotta
put the effort in.
See what people are using, and it doesn't matter if they're using the most state of the art shit. Use some that those shells that they're using are cheap shells. Buy some to use those cheap shells.
Yeah,
there's no
whatever cycles through your gun, man, is really what. If it works through your gun, then it works.
Man. That's a big question throughout the season. Will this cycle? We'll be looking at boxes. You think this will cycle through my gun? That's like a golden
it's 70
question.
years old. I don't know, man.
Exactly. Yeah. And usually we put it through my gun first before we put it through his gun. Usually the rounds that won't go through his gun go great through my gun.
Yeah, I don't understand what it is. Mine is much newer, but I abuse the shit out of my stuff. So.
Yeah. It's not on purpose, but our shit just gets abused because we're out there. We're doing it.
Yeah,
I feel like some people like I meet people like, oh, they don't want to get their gun wet.
Yeah.
I'm like, dude,
who are you?
Yeah.
Who are you? What state did you come from?
For real.
You're not bringing your gun to the right environment if you don't want to get your gun wet out here.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, buddy.
Yeah, I don't want to get my gun wet. Go to the desert.
Yeah.
Go to the desert.
Don't come to Florida because that's not.
I'm sure you'll find ducks in the desert. Go to the desert.
Yeah, it's definitely not happening here because anywhere you go in this state, you're gonna run into moisture. Like you said, you're gonna run into some kind of water.
I'm gonna rebuttal my comment. Someone's gonna reach out to you and say, "Oh, dude, I got spots in the desert that got ducks in them. I got spots." And listen, hey, if you got spots, take me to them. Invite me.
Yeah, I'm gonna take you guys down memory lane. When I first started duck hunting, I was actually 18 years old, man. I'm 30 now. For the people that don't know, so 12 years ago, and I started with a ex's dad and her brother, and they were like, just get what you can. You just get what you could afford. And at that time, I was working retail, making dirt cheap money back then.
Yeah.
So I went to Walmart and I was like, this Mossberg looks good and whatever, fuck it, I'll go with that. And dude, my first season with this cheap $150 Mossberg back then, whatever year that was.
That's a Mossberg, man. That's not a bad brand.
Yeah. But $150, people would have laughed at you and thought, no, this guy's not going to kill anything. That first year, I fucked him up with that $150 gun. So, like you said, man, that's good advice. Just get out there and whatever you could afford and whatever you could use that season, or if you have to borrow something, just the first step is getting out there and just doing it, just enjoying yourself. I love taking in all the information.
I love taking new people out, man. If you ain't got shit, I don't care what you got. You don't even have to have camouflage. Come on with it. I'll bring you out. For me, it's like another new hunter coming out and hunting. It's another 43 ducks that I can scratch off.
There's a price to pay for that, for the people that are going to want to reach out and say, hey man, take me hunting. No, it's not take me hunting. It's come hunting.
Yeah.
Figure it out, because we're gonna go through some thick shit.
Oh, yeah,
we're gonna go through it.
This
and
isn't
we're gonna
be
figure
an
out
easy ride.
Can you hang or not? Is the question.
Exactly.
This is a trial. You're either gonna fail or you're gonna make it.
And there's been plenty of people.
Right off the bat, bro, I tell people, I'd love to take you hunting. Get your licenses, get this, and get that. That's all you need. Get your licenses.
That's the first crucible. Get your licenses.
Get legal.
Get legal. Get your license. Management area
everybody
stamp.
through it. Anybody who asks me, you're going to go through this website. You're going to go Outdoors Florida. You're going to sign
the same
in.
way.
And you're going to do all this stuff. And then when you got your licenses, you let me know and we'll set up a date.
Yeah.
I
don't take anybody out until I've seen it.
More than half of the people, because I know that they're not about it. If you don't do something, it's not even that I wouldn't take you hunting. Yeah. But if you're not going to do something as simple as buy the license, then are you going to even throw a decoy? Are you going to hand me some shells? Are you going to even, are you going to hand me some bug spray when I fucking need it? I'm not going to.
Are you cut out for this?
Yeah, exactly. I'm not going to have to drag your ass to the swamp.
There's people that I've come across that, listen, I don't think I'm cut out for that real deep in there shit. And I get it.
I like the honesty.
I get it. And I do enjoy the honesty. I like it. But there's people that are interested, and those are the people that you can break into it that usually end up better hunters than you. You know what I'm saying?
You'd be surprised.
Dude, I took this Russian kid python hunting the other day. Thursday night, I took him python hunting. And he was like, we missed a python. And regardless of whether we missed a python or not, the dude was so enthusiastic. He's like, "We're gonna get one."
I love that.
We were pulling up.
You
to
can
my
tell
house.
he's hooked.
We were pulling up to my house at here in back home, and he's like, "We're gonna get one. We're gonna find one." Like pulling down the street to my road, he's like, "There's still a chance that we're gonna get one."
Yeah.
Vice versa.
It's so enthusiastic, and I have some friends that are so enthusiastic that they don't. I've taken them out 3-4 times hunting. They didn't shoot a bird, and they still want to come out just because it's fucking cool.
They're hooked, man.
They're just because it's freaking cool.
Everybody's that person in the beginning. We've all been there. We were all that guy.
Right. Whereas to the flip, to what Jonathan said about the enthusiasm, I've had actually in this season where we were hunting pythons, I've had, I had a pair of people that I took out and I took them to the ringer, man. We went out and we weren't seeing nothing when we were driving around. We could try to find them, couldn't find them. I was like, let's go take a walk, man. And what was super cool about the walk is that we found 5 foot, probably 100-pound tarpon in a freshwater canal, which was super, super cool.
I saw those
about that.
pictures, man. That's dope.
Yeah, that is dope. I've been having fun catching them. But in that spot that we were at, we walked. I took them through a 6-mile walk. And mind you, I took them through a 6-mile walk it was all paved road for the most part, but it was all in the middle of the Everglades, an area that has a lot of old, torn down buildings. It's an old facility,
right,
to say the least. And there was, they walk like troopers, but they didn't have the enthusiasm that Jonathan was describing. And I've asked, one of them was my coworker, and I've asked him again, hey, bro, let's go out. And he'd be like, yeah, hey, no, man.
Yeah, this came up.
He's
so-and-so's
like,
birthday.
I don't know about that, all that, man. And I'm not saying he's not about it, but he's been a little bit hesitant on it.
Yeah.
Again, he
set
thinks
up,
we're going to walk 6 miles again.
Broke him in good.
Exactly, yeah. With my checking set up, with my savings, I transfer money to my savings and then to my checkings. Exactly.
Yeah, if you're not about it, I mean, if you come down here and it just kicks your ass and you just give up,
that's anywhere,
just call it.
That's anywhere. If you're not about it, you're not about it, man.
Yeah,
and there's nothing against you.
Yeah,
There's some people.
There's no judgment.
There's more than often I'll run into people, usually coming out when I'm hunting and I'm coming out and it's like a tourist or something like that. Today I was on my way and I was on I-75 headed west on Alligator Alley, and I pulled off because my strap to the paddleboard started making a god-awful noise. So I'm like, all right, let's go check out.
Let's take care of this.
And I pull off, and there's some, you could tell they're tourists. Their skin is too white, their face is too red, they're lighting up a cigarette.
Just got off the plane.
And you could tell these guys are sweating at the moment they got out of the car because they're hefty people. You know what I'm saying? So the guy turns around, he goes, hey, man, throw your paddleboard in there. And I'm like, you think you're crazy if you think that I won't throw my paddleboard in there. There's a big-ass gator in there. I don't give a shit about no big-ass gator. I'll slap the dog shit out of that gator. Just like that, I said it to him. He's like, nah, man, I bet you. I was like, okay, you don't know where I'm headed, do you?
It's a lot worse than this.
Exactly.
That's a cakewalk about what I'm about to go through.
Yeah. So, it's if you're about it, there's some people that have told me straight up, like, hell no, I ain't gonna get into hell. You got me messed up.
I got a lot of questions this year after posting us a couple pictures at one of the STAs that we have here, not too far from here.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of people were like, is there gators in the water that you're in?
Everywhere. People tell me there's no gators in there, and I look at, especially I do vegetation management, underwater vegetation management specifically.
So
So yeah, there might not be a gator in that lake at the moment, but there's signs typically in most lakes, especially around here, say beware of gators, and they don't say them for no reason. Gators have legs. Them bitches walk. They go. They walk. You know, a gator
they cover
can walk
a lot.
Dude,
of
a gator
land.
can walk some like 5 miles in a day easily.
Yeah,
you know
like
what I'm
nothing.
saying? Like nothing. And mind you, it might take them 24 hours to do it, but they walk that 5 miles. How do you think there's gators on either coast, either side of the coast? You know what I'm saying? So they walk.
What I tell people that aren't from this state is anybody at water, it doesn't matter if it's somebody's pool.
It could be a puddle.
Mm-hmm. There could be a gator in there.
Actually, I've seen plenty gators in puddles. Next to there could be a big ass body of water right next to the road. There could be a canal next to that big ass body of water in between that and the road. You know what I'm saying? And the gator will choose to lay down in the puddle in the middle of the road.
Yep, I've seen it myself.
How many times I've seen it? So they're out there. My first hunting season, my first deer season when I started hunting, we went out there, and I was actually with my brother, and we were in the area that you hunt, and I get off the trail to go peek into this flag pond, and I'm looking in the flag pond, and I start inching forward a little bit, and this gator didn't make a sound. And I start inching forward, stepping, little bits forward, and it drops off into a canal, and the canal separates me from the flag pond. So I'm trying to get as close as I can to the water to like veer and peek into this flag pond. And I stepped right on this gator's tail, and he slapped the shit out of my ankle. And I was like, oh my God, dude, he scared the shit out of me. And I run into gators a lot, but most of the time, they don't want nothing to do with you.
Yeah,
90% of the time, they don't want nothing to do with you.
Yeah.
I mean, though I've only had instances where gators get smart.
Yeah.
Gators are really smart.
They are
Especially
smart
they're
animals.
habitually smart. So if you're going to the same spot where you see a gator and you're duck hunting and it's seeing ducks falling out of the sky, it might not take the first hunt, it might not take the second hunt, maybe not even the third hunt, but there's going to be a point where that gator's going to come up and grab your bird because
There's been a few times.
Try it.
There's been a few times where I went out and I was like, dude, I swear to God, this duck was right here. And I look just past the spread, 100 yards past where I was standing at.
Somebody's having a snack.
And I see someone having a snack. Yeah. That's and it's eerie because you don't super thick vegetation. You don't think they would get through it, especially under the water with the hydrilla and everything that's growing in the water.
Super thick.
Super thick stuff that would drown somebody if they weren't really prepared for it.
Yeah.
And that thing, moved 50 yards without really using a muscle.
Hell no, it's a motherfucking race if I see a gator coming at my motherfucking
For sure.
That's for sure, man. Like I said, I'm not scared of no gator. I've working in the Everglades doing vegetation management. I've slapped a few of them from under me. There was one time I was filling up my tank, my herbicide tank, and I'm doing my thing, and I'm sitting there and I'm filling up, and I'm looking at my phone, and it takes about 20, 30 minutes sometimes to fill up these tanks. And I'm sitting there, and the holes these gators make in the Everglades, and especially in this spot, sometimes they're huge ponds. They're ponds that are like bigger than 2 or 3 Olympic-sized swimming pools next to each other. You know what I'm saying? But it's perfectly round, like a meteor. Perfect, like you couldn't get a more perfect circle. And some of them are as big as, like I said, 2 or 3 Olympic-sized swimming pools, and some of them are as big as a foot. Big as, maybe a foot in diameter.
Yeah.
And I was sitting over one of those holes that are very small, foot in diameter, a little bit far from a bigger hole.
Right.
And I'm sitting there on it, and I have my hose in there drawing water from that hole. And I just, I'm sitting at the edge of the boat, and everyone has told me, I don't know why you sit at the edge of the boat. That's with my ass hanging off.
Yeah.
And that's like you're not afraid of no gators? And I've told them, like I say now, I ain't scared of no damn gator. I'll smack the shit out of a gator. And this one gator actually scared. It spooked me, and it was sitting there under my ass looking at me. And I was like, whoa, hey, buddy, you're not supposed to be there, and I'm sitting there, and I grab the machete out, and I turn it to the side, and I slap him with the side, and he did not like that, and he ended up going off, and I ended up coming back and filling up there again. He was there again, and I'm looking around, I'm not gonna keep slapping this fucking gator, man.
Yeah.
This is not fair. It's not fair to me, or it's not fair to him.
Yeah.
So I'm looking around, and I see, and maybe 20 feet behind him was an island. There was like 30 eggs on that island out in broad daylight. They usually cover them up pretty good, but out in broad daylight. And I was like, oh.
Now it makes sense.
I'm still filling up here. I don't care if you're here, man. You better leave me alone. But yeah, gators are.
I'm more scared
everywhere.
of freaking snapping turtles, man.
Yeah.
Because you slip into those holes every now and again, duck hunting, with your waders. I'm more scared of a snapping turtle.
He ain't letting go.
You're missing toes.
Yeah.
You're gonna be missing toes.
And honestly,
a gator, you can see it coming. You'll see the water move and shit like that. A snapping turtle, you're just gonna feel it.
The gators. What scares me the most cautious I am with gators is when I'm getting into a body of like a canal, like if I'm stepping into dark water or water I can't see in.
Right.
That's when I'm a little bit cautious because that's typically when they're sitting there at the bottom, just hanging out, not doing nothing, holding their breath.
Yep.
Typically
waiting for something to come
waiting
by.
for something to walk. When I'm most cautious about gators is WMAs that have lots of deer and WMAs that have lots of hogs.
Right.
That happen to have quite a few gators. There's one gator that I come up on every now and again. He could be 2 miles down this canal or 1 mile in the opposite direction or whatever. But somewhere along this canal, at least typically once or twice a hunting season, I'll run into him, and I'll find him. And I can tell it's the same gator because he don't grow much more than he already has. And
Yeah.
he's got a few distinct features of the way that he sits, and the way just so still, and he sees a person, he doesn't want to move.
Yeah.
Like, no, this is my spot. You're not going to push me out. I see that. I'm like,
You guys got
bro.
a mutual agreement.
Yeah, exactly. Man. Listen, you don't eat me. I might send a deer your way. Maybe don't eat them, please. As long as you don't eat me.
As long as we're on the same terms and we got this
exactly,
figured
yeah.
out. Yeah, I took a buddy on his first duck hunt this year, and like you guys were saying earlier, that satisfaction of getting somebody out on their duck hunt. He actually killed a merganser and a couple other things.
Oh, dope! That's one that's on my list.
Yeah.
I've been trying. I haven't even seen a merganser to be honest.
It's in the same area that I was at, so you know what I'm talking about. But
you know the best recipe I heard about for cooking merganser?
putting them in the trash.
Throw 'em in the trash.
It's a good joke, man. It's gotten around, obviously.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, I don't think anybody ended up eating that damn thing. But
Yeah, it's
So
so
I-
on the wall.
That's one thing that we like to call dog food.
yeah, for sure. So I ended up taking him out to this place, and we're walking through some pretty thick stuff, and I ended up hearing a gator start sounding off. And I was like, all right, he didn't hear anything yet. Let me not spook him because I know he will get spooked if I say something about this shit. But this thing's pretty pissed off, and it's letting us know. You better
Making
go
noise, yeah.
You better go the other fucking way,
Yeah.
or something's going down. And he was like, "What is that?" I was like, "Oh man, don't worry about it. Let's just keep let's just keep moving down
How
that
can
way,
you
man."
not worry about that? Hearing that,
But it's I don't know what it is, man. It's probably a bullfrog. Let's just go this
that's
way.
a big ass bullfrog, dude. Damn.
And so we finally end up getting into our spot, and it ended up producing a little bit. But yeah, I didn't end up telling him until the next day. I was like, "Yeah, dude, it was your first chance, and we actually got out there and made something happen." But yeah, man, that was a fucking gator. Always assume that any body of water that we going forward,
Yeah.
just that potential threat's in there. So just keep your eyes peeled.
And although it very, very seldom you come across a gator running across a flag pond, running across a set of woods. I still have yet, I think, to run into a gator coming across a set of woods that isn't, within 100 yards of a canal.
Yeah,
Because
it's always close.
As much as I've walked through Big Cypress, I've never ran into a gator that's been off the canals.
We ran into one gator in Big Cypress, way out into one unit that was, we looked at it and we were like, damn, this thing made it far. Actually, it wasn't even. It was a bunch of babies that we came up on.
I do remember that.
We came up on a bunch of babies in a cypress dome in a deep, deep little hole. All the water had receded, and it was just this little hole that was probably about
2 by 2, maybe
2 by 2 or 3 by
Small.
3, tiny hole. You could tell it was deep. It was probably about 3 or 4 foot deep for how wide the hole was. And those little babies were there, and the mom was nowhere to be found. She went to go find some water. Screw these babies.
figure it out. You guys got this.
Exactly, and they probably did figure it out. In all honesty, and the biggest thing with gators is, especially when they're back there in the woods like that, is not getting caught by an osprey or a hawk.
That's the biggest threat.
Them babies will bite back though.
For sure. All right, guys. So when it comes to duck hunting, what's the method you guys like to go with the most? Like, do you guys like to hunt off a boat? Do you guys like to go out there and wade? Do you want to get out into the timber? Like, what? Tell me what's your go-to?
Here in Florida, you're kind of limited to what you can do. Most everything in here is
You're gonna need
marsh.
a vessel. You're gonna need a vessel, small vessel, personal vessel,
Right.
If not, you're gonna
Kayak. I mean, anything.
be, yeah,
John boat, something.
Yep.
if not, you're going to be walking miles. For me, it's nice to do a little bit of everything. I've never personally hunted out of a layout, which is something I've always wanted to do.
Yeah.
But hunting, in the marsh, for me, if I'm hunting in the marsh and I got to go kayak out, if I can wade, I'm going to wade just because I have that mobility. My mobility is best when I'm wading instead of compared to in a boat.
Right.
For sure. I'd rather be able to hunt outside of a boat. But me and Jonathan did do a good few hunts where we had no choice but to stay in the boat. You know what I'm saying? 99% of the time, I think we're going to be hunting on our feet. There's only very few places where the water's too deep to hunt for the most part that we've,
If
encountered so far.
If you're hunting a marsh here, you're either getting to it by boat or you're walking to it. There's really not much in between.
By boat meaning either you're gonna go, it's gonna be a motor boat, a John boat, airboat, mud boat, or you're gonna paddle your ass out there.
Yeah.
And 90% of it, you're gonna paddle your ass out there. Just so you know. Sure. You guys ever want to come to Florida, get ready to paddle.
Yeah, you really got to earn it down here, man. I mean, all the best spots, if you want to get away from everyone else, all the, the spots that just stand out and everybody's going to be at on opening day or whatever day it may be. If you're on public land, get away from there.
I get both ends of the spectrum sometimes. Sometimes I'll get into a spot and think I got it on lock and it'd be blown out by the time I realize, damn, I guess I didn't have this shit on lock. And then there'll be spots where I'll be like, I bet you there's going to be 1,000 people here in the morning. You get there and it's crickets.
Yeah.
Nothing but you and the crickets. and vice versa for some spots. What I like to do as far as what you asked, method, Jonathan covered it pretty good with the, I like to do a little bit of everything. I do like to do a little bit of everything. As far as that, I think it goes back to what I said earlier. It depends on where you're going to be at, what you're going to be doing. So farther down south into the state, there's going to be areas where you have no choice but to paddle in, and you're going to be paddling in. I don't want to be describing these places too much. Whoever knows what I'm saying knows what I'm saying. But you're going to be paddling in places that are like mangrove swamps and stuff like that. And then you're going to be running into some places where you're going to be walking in, and it's going to be Everglades.
Yeah.
It's going to be sawgrass. It's going to be cattails.
Things change quick around here.
For sure.
And you're flooded Pinewood Flats. A lot of it's walking. A lot of it's either getting to it with a boat. There's really not much. It's just like any other state.
Unless you have the means, like you're someone who has an airboat or a John boat, which a lot of people, or a mud boat, which a lot of people do.
Yeah.
A lot of people do have those means. Those are great methods of getting out there. Me and Jonathan don't make a ton of money. You know what I'm saying? We don't have a ton of money.
Like we said earlier, we're budget hunters.
Exactly. So mind you, I have an airboat build in the process. You know what I'm saying? So we're going to get out there. We're going to do what we can. John, I think eventually in his future is going to hold a mud boat. You know what I'm saying? Or a flats boat. So we're going to get out there using those toys. But for right now, we're doing what we can with what we got, and we're making it happen.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
And some people hunt only off a boat because they like taking their boat out. Me, I can't. I'm going to hunt where the ducks are at. So whether I got to get there with a boat, whether I got to get there with a buggy, whether I can shoot off the highway and shoot them, then right. I'm going where they're at,
Yeah.
For me, the boat, a lot of people, this is where the cultures start to mix in. You see the buggy hunters hunt because of their buggy and not to hunt. You know what I'm saying? Whereas you see some hunters hunt and use a buggy to hunt instead of, not necessarily being a buggy hunter, but they use their buggy to get to their spot.
Right.
Whereas there's some people that want to run the buggy. It's more about the buggy than the hunt. And there's some people it's more about the hunt than the buggy. And that goes around with the airboat. That goes around with the mud boat. That goes around with the hunt truck, side by side, whatever it is.
Yeah.
Some people, you'll know those people. You'll know that some people, it's more about the piece of equipment that they're on than what they're hunting. And you'll know the people when you see them that it's more about what they're hunting than the piece of equipment.
And it's not even that it matters. They're getting out because they want to get out with their buggy. I encourage that because that's
for sure. I'm not saying that it's bad, but you can see the difference in those people. That there's going to be some people that you're going to know, oh, those guys are dirt nap dealers. Those guys are dirt nap dealers. We get those looks a lot, man. Me and Jonathan be pulling up my little Jeep or in his GMC for a while. We were pulling up in his Crown Victoria, bumping some ghetto ass music, pulling up to the check station, wearing our Crocs and sandals, and I wear my camel toes is what I call them, flip flops and socks on them, and we're pulling up, and people are like in all this state of the art gear and shit. We're pulling up in our Walmart shit and our Walmart camo and shit like that, and people are like, "Oh,
yeah,
damn, these guys look like they know what they do."
Where the fuck did these guys
come from?
Yeah, I would get some, when I have my dreads, man, I would get some freaking sideways ass looks. People be like, where the hell did this, what rock did this guy come out of?
What cave did this guy crawl out of?
Like you guys said, man, I mean, just get out there and get it by any means necessary. It doesn't matter what piece of equipment you're using. It doesn't matter if it's the Chevrolegs and you're
That's all
walking your
irrelevant at that
ass
point.
out there. Just get out there, and that's the first step, man. Just get in front of them. Get in front of them, and if you could call them in and you could get that reaction, 10 times better.
Listen, a lot of people don't think of it. A win within itself is going somewhere with the intentions of doing something like hunting, duck hunting, deer hunting, snake hunting, alligator hunting.
It doesn't matter what it is.
It doesn't matter. When you first embark into something, especially as a new hunter, as a new angler, as a new whatever it is, seeing them is the first win. Seeing it, just putting your eyys on it.
You know it's real
People
now.
you don't realize how big of a win that is. Like, you might take the biggest L of just you. It feels like a big L seeing them. You know? It feels like a huge L, but that's a W all the way. Especially if you're a new hunter. Like these last few weeks, you've been seeing it on my Instagram. These last few weeks, I've been going out and chasing. That I've had an infatuation with for some reason lately is these freshwater saltwater fish.
Yeah,
Tarpon, snook. I ran into me not realizing that I was going to be seeing these. I ran into freshwater sheep's head. Which I was like, wow.
I've never even heard of that.
That is a sheep's head right there. And I literally put my fingers in the water and tasted it. And that water is fresh, So I was surprised. And I've had this infatuation lately with these freshwater snook. But what so far I've sealed the deal with the freshwater tarpon. I found the tarpon, you know what I'm saying? And it was such a good W. It was a good belt to throw around my waist. It was a nice dance to have. It was nice to be able to have that. Take that win without kind of. I wasn't really. I was chasing more the snook, trying to find the snook, but I found the tarpon.
Yeah,
and I've been now, and I've caught a few of them already. My girlfriend.
Oh, I've seen the pictures. There's some stud tarpon too.
My girlfriend. Recently just landed the biggest one out of all of us. And it was probably about 25,
That's usually
26.
How it goes.
Yeah, 25, 26 pounds. And she's over there fighting it. I thought she was stuck on a rock for a second. And I'm like, you got something? And she's reeling, reeling.
Oh, that ain't no rock.
I hear the reel and the drag. And I'm like, oh, she's stuck on something. I'm thinking she's stuck. And she's reeling and she's reeling. I'm like, you got something? And she's not saying something. Nothing. And I'm like, you got something? And then it goes, and I'm like, oh my God. She's got a fish. She didn't say nothing. Let me go get the net. And I go grab the net. And it was a nice fish. It hit itself on the wall real hard. It scraped its head up. But I released it. It went back. It swam and it swam away. And those things are.
Yeah, they're relentless.
Dinosaurs. They're stellar. Dude.
They've been around for
man.
Before any of us were here, man.
Long time.
Yeah. Yeah, I have fun. That's my off-season story. Is I'm just doing fishing. As soon as duck season ends, it's spec fishing. I'm trying to fill a cooler. I'm trying to get 15 fish for me, 15 fish for whoever got a fishing license.
You got to kill that time in between, man.
You got to, man. You got to fill it.
But you got to do it in God's country.
Exactly. You gotta play with the critters, play with nature, man. Be out there, man. That's the best way to get through it. In my opinion, that's the best way to live life.
For sure.
Be out there.
But bringing it back to the point, when you first see that. See whatever that you're going after, you're hooked. I don't care who you are. When you go out there and you've been sitting out there for a minute, for hours maybe, and you're just, you're telling yourself, are they even real? Are they even out here? Like, why am I even wasting my time?
I'm going on my, and I like doing it because I like getting out, but I'm going on like my 4th season. I want to say my 4th solid full season. This will be my 5th. I've gone 4 full seasons without killing a public land deer. And, I tell myself that I suck at deer hunting. I could be more avid at it.
Yeah.
Coming from the horse's mouth, I could be more avid at it. But, I have my tree stand. I got my bow. I have all the equipment for a deer hunter to start, so for a deer hunter to be a deer hunter.
Yeah.
But it's just, it's hard. It's hard work. I kick myself in the ass all the time. But it's tough.
They're so pressured down here, man. That's what people don't realize.
It's hot, dude. They're going to spend a third of their time awake in nighttime. A third of their day awake. That's my calculation because I hardly see these fucking things. They're going to spend a third of their time awake in the nighttime because it's not hot as balls.
Yeah. I mean, it is killer down here. You got to be built for this shit.
Yeah, thank God hunting here is in the fall because, I mean, archery season is in the summer, but
Yeah.
Yeah.
it'd be unbearable if it wasn't in the
But I
time
like-
change.
Archery
'Cause if it was-
season will humble you real quick in
Yes.
South Florida. Well, Florida in general.
Hopefully, I break the. What was that? The jinx thing they called in How I Met Your Mother. I don't remember what it is, but hopefully I break the curse. Hopefully I break the curse. Now that I said it out loud to broadcast for the world, it's been 4 seasons.
Everybody's going to be on his
and I
Instagram
still have
looking
yet-
all year.
and I still have yet
Everybody's
to
waiting.
kill my first public land deer, but it's gonna happen. I've blown a bunch of shots. I've had them come right under me, and that was actually one time in Big Cypress. So me and my brother were camping out there, and we were. I was like, let's go drive around, see what we see, and he ends up driving. I was actually driving. We're going down the grade, and this deer, it was just barely legal, but it was legal. But it was just barely legal, and it was placed right in front of us in the middle of the grade while we were driving. 10 o'clock in the morning. We were not expecting this. And I jump out in my ghillie suit and my bow, and this thing starts running towards me, running towards me, like running towards me.
What more could you ask for?
Exactly, running towards me. And I'm like, and you know what? Me thinking that I'm an all right hunter, bro, I pass it up. I'm like, I don't even want to.
I'll get my good karma down the road.
It was the first day. It was the first day.
We didn't see a fucking deer after that, by the way. but
That's usually how it goes.
and we busted our ass. But that was actually we didn't see as many deer as we nearly thought we were gonna see with the time that we had because we spent 5 days out there.
Florida
and-
will humble you.
And we got humbled, bro. We got humbled. But that to this day, I think is mine and my brother's favorite trip that we've had. We've way less action than any other trip we've had, but being the goofballs that we are, having the time to spend to be ourselves and be where we want to be, it was just,
There wasn't a soul out there, man.
What more could you ask for?
We were hunting Big Cypress for archery season, and we stayed at the Bear Island campground. There wasn't a soul out there, man. Everybody
for the first week. It was the weekend. It was the week after the opening weekend. We said, all right, we're going to sacrifice our opening weekend, prepare, get our camping shit together, take our time, start our vacation.
Try to do it right. Yeah.
Start our vacation. You know what I'm saying? Remember that we're on vacation. And I'll tell you what, I think the reason that trip was so good is that we remembered the entire time that we were on vacation. We were being idiots the entire time, which is the best. It was the best time.
You got to have fun, man. That's what it's all about. There's no point of going out there if you're not going to have some fun. And I guarantee the first step is getting out there. If you get out there, you're going to have fun.
And that's one
That's for
thing.
sure.
That's one thing about hunting. People have their reasons why they hunt. Oh, I hunt to get my natural meat, or I hunt to spend time outdoors.
Fuck that! I hunt because it's fun.
Exactly.
I hunt because that's the way. This is the way I live. That's the way it is, bro. That's pretty much my reasoning behind
That
it.
is 100% my reason.
I wouldn't imagine living any other kind of lifestyle. Whether it's aside from a species. At heart, I call myself, and I feel, and I believe, I'm a Gladesman for sure. It's on my bio, and I don't have it on my bio for no reason. So, and hopefully within the next few years, I'm gonna end up working my way down there and having my own plot, and planting my roots there.
Yeah.
But essentially, that culture, that lifestyle, that's why I do it. Hunting is a big basis for it. You know what I'm saying? So, but essentially, it's not the entirety of the reason that we do it, right?
Right.
So it's
a lot deeper than most people realize.
Yeah, hunting is a part of the culture, but the culture is the reason why we do it, right?
Yep, 100%.
And essentially, that's what it is, and that's why we do it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like I said, I mean, there will be a bunch of times we'll go out there and get humbled. But
More times often than not.
Yeah,
You know.
but that's what keeps us coming back.
Listen, I'd rather eat humble pie than not go out at all.
Yeah, 100%.
Listen, I got my 2 feet and my hands, and I'm gonna use them.
Yep.
So whether I'm coming out, listen, I might be a fucking vegetarian, old Indian word for bad hunter, but I'm going out. You know what I'm saying? You're not stopping me.
Yeah. I think last year was a great season because, I mean, there wasn't a single weekend that went by that I wasn't out during open season. I mean, it was great, man. It didn't matter what part of the state that I was in, just taking in those views, just even the scouting beforehand, even getting out there. It's super underrated. I mean, the scouting is just as fun as the hunting. And sometimes the hunting just turns out into scouting. But just being out there in God's country and just taking in all those views and just you're going to remember that for the rest of your life, man. Yeah. Whether it's a good experience or a bad experience.
Right. Sure. That's why, like we were saying earlier, some people just aren't cut out for it, And
that's okay.
The people, if I had to send a message across, the people who are deeply interested into it, you know what I'm saying? Try it. Start out, find it. If the least you could do is ask someone that to take you hunting or to, introduce you to it, find someone that will. Or, you don't have to find
ask
someone
me,
that will.
my freaking Instagram handle.
But you don't
hit me up on Instagram, Rastaman John.
Necessarily, you don't have to hit anybody up. Don't be afraid to do it yourself.
Yeah, just get out
There's
there.
gonna be a lot of people. Start doing your research and start following people.
Josh said, "Fuck you! Don't hit me up. Go out there yourself, bitch."
Hey, you can hit me.
You can edit that out.
That's too vulgar. You can hit me up, but have your send me a screenshot of your license and your management area, so I know it's legit. I don't want to get catfished.
FWC has entered the chat.
Yeah, exactly. I don't want to get catfished by a game warden.
No, I like John said earlier, man. I get the question all the time, like, would you take me out? And my first thing that I always tell them is get legal. Get on the websites. I'll send you all the information that you need. Get your license. Do everything the right way. And I will take you out there.
Yeah, for sure. Honestly, I would say the same thing. So if you're listening, you already have 3 people here that are willing to do it. Send over that screenshot of that license and the management area. And honestly, don't be afraid. A lot of people, 90% of people that I run into, are just afraid to get into it because I get it. It's a huge investment to start spending money into equipment that you necessarily don't need. You think you need or you need. When in that instance, I've spent a lifetime's worth of money on equipment that I'd never used. That's just the way it is.
Yep.
You're going to come across equipment that once you realize what you know that you're doing, you're going to be like, oh, I never use this for a reason because this obviously doesn't work here or this piece of equipment really isn't built for this area or something like that. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, just be optimistic if you're going into it.
Yeah, you got to be very open-minded in this game, especially in Florida.
Talk about ducks, man. Let's talk about ducks.
Let's talk a little bit about this Delta Waterfowl Association.
We just started.
That's a great idea.
Yeah, we just helped start. Thanks to Stacy Whittam. Shout out to Stacy. We just got a Palm Beach. Called Palm Beach.
Yeah,
Palm Beach
Delta Waterfowl chapter.
So it's going very well. Had a very, very good start. Quite a few people show up.
Yeah, we've had really good turnout considering, what other events and other,
where
I guess not. I wouldn't say chapters, but I want to say organizations in general. You know, a lot of people don't get such good turnout. There's been 20 people every time at every little meeting.
That's a very good turnout.
Great turnout.
Where could everybody find a little bit more information about this besides what we're going to talk about? Like if they wanted to go and do the digging themselves, is there a website or?
You can probably just search up Delta Waterfowl on whatever search engine you want to search up. For places and people that are more specific to our area, you can look in on Facebook, Delta Waterfowl, and it'll come up with the Treasure Coast chapter. It'll come up with the Palm Beach County chapter. I think there's another chapter down south. So you'll see those chapters come up. It's
really depends on where you're at, but for our chapter, I think is Delta Waterfowl of Palm Beach County, right? So for here in Florida, we have all the same organizer. She's the regional manager
for the state, or
for the might even be for Georgia too. Georgia, she might be Florida.
So like
Georgia,
the southeast.
Yeah. So like Florida and Georgia's Stacy covers. Excuse me. Yeah, Florida and Georgia's what Stacy covers.
Okay. So, like, what's some of the benefits to joining the Delta Waterfowl Association?
Well, Delta waterfowl is good, especially speaking that we were just on the conversation and the topic of new hunters or people that are
Right.
prospecting and stuff. Delta is a good organization to tap into to find a lot of hunters that are willing to put you on.
Right.
That are there for that reason, that are there to expand the idea and the knowledge and just duck hunting.
Yeah.
Everything duck hunting and waterfowl in general. It doesn't have to be duck hunting, but conservation for areas to duck hunt and areas for duck hunters to duck hunt. Ducks to do duck things and duck hunters to do duck hunter things.
Yeah.
So, they have set up a youth hunt. So if there's people, children, younger people that are looking or asking their parents, "Hey, I want to get into hunting. I think it's cool." Delta Waterfowl is a good place to start for that. They have youth hunts. They also have put together veteran hunts and stuff like that. This is a nonprofit organization, so they try to put together a group of people, like-minded, well-rounded
Right.
people, and they can get them to a local hunt, and some duck hunters, that know what they're doing will take these people that never met them in their life typically and take them out and do duck hunting things,
Yeah, they also have a program, I think, with the University of Florida that they Stacy got together and she got like classroom of some of the kids.
Oh yeah, university hunt.
And they essentially went. They had to buy as part of the curriculum for their class. They had to buy their duck stamp. They had to buy their licenses, and they took them hunting essentially. So
And with that, they learned how to take the duck apart, and that was with the University of Florida, right?
I believe so.
Field dressing.
Yeah,
and
field dress it. There was some hunters, from what I understand, on the hunts that they did. I don't know where
Most
they
of
did
those
them.
kids didn't, and I can't say kids because some of them were full-grown adults, but most of them never hunted in their life.
Never
So-
knew anything about it. But after they, just dipped their toes into it, they had a completely different mindset, and why it's good. It's not duck hunting is good for waterfowl, and of course, waterfowl is good for duck hunting.
Yeah.
Of course. So, and that's kind of where we're going with that. We're trying to expand duck hunting and expand the idea that more duck hunting will bring more places to duck hunt. More duck hunting will bring more duck hunters into the organization. You know what I'm saying? So it essentially it's a full circle kind of thing.
So is there so when it comes to the Delta Waterfowl Association, is there a fee that you have to pay to get in, or is
No,
there a
I mean, you
subscription that you have to do?
You can come to our meetings. You don't have to be a member for Delta Waterfowl. All the money that goes into Delta Waterfowl is research on ducks, and it's gonna do work to get us more ducks.
Oh, and not only that, some donations that we get, we get back a percentage of that for our branch essentially, and we get to do local projects and stuff like that with that money. So
It's not like we're donating and we're never going to see any money. We get
Right.
money back. We get a certain percentage back on whatever we get for Delta Waterfowl to be able to do a lot of these projects.
right, and then people are going to want to be a part of mounting wood duck boxes in certain places, and
Right.
essentially,
Or, yeah.
even if you don't, I wouldn't say even if you don't pay your dues. I wouldn't say dues. Excuse me, that's a wrong way to put it. But even if you don't pay the annual donation for it, I'm sure there's no reason why you wouldn't be able to come out and see how the wood duck boxes get put up, or how certain projects get,
Funding.
carried out through Delta Waterfowl, with the benefit of the funds that we've been getting from people that are part of the association.
Yeah.
And it's not, you don't even have to be a part. You come out to a banquet, all the money that we get from a banquet goes straight to Delta Waterfowl for us to be able to do these projects and stuff like that.
Yeah, buy a raffle ticket. I don't
You
know
can get
anybody.
a shotgun, you can get all kinds of stuff. You can get
Shotguns,
liquor.
bags.
There's plenty of perks.
The Yeti coolers. There's a bunch of stuff. That's a big thing. Come out to the banquet. That's a huge benefit for Delta. It helps.
Yeah, anything that goes back into conversation.
Conservation.
Sorry.
Yeah, no, I get that
too. Conservation. We should all be a part of at some point in time in our hunting experience out there in the world.
I think it's good for people who don't even hunt. It's good for even if you're not a hunter and you have a broad idea of how conservation works. It's a great program to get into just for conservation, for the sake of conservation. It's most duck hunters, 99% of duck hunters that I know aren't going to be reckless and not care about the ducks.
Right.
99% of the duck hunters that I've met and that I know would want to take someone that has never hunted, specifically one of their children one day hunting, and wouldn't want to see nothing bad happen to the ducks as a whole. They want to be able to hunt. They want to take their kids hunting. Everyone wants to be able to do that.
You definitely got to see with a program like this, it's you got to look at the bigger picture, that it's basically preparing the future for an opportunity to do the things that we love ourselves. So
exactly,
it's definitely a good cause.
The cool thing that Stacy always she's cool as hell. The cool thing that Stacy always ensures, like, we work with Ducks Unlimited. It's not like we're working against the same cause,
right?
Everyone's working together for the same thing. There's big projects that got to be done. Why not? What's a little bit of money towards duck hunting? I already put so much money towards duck hunting to hunt myself. What's a little bit more for my kids to hunt one day? What's a little bit more to be able to take my mom hunting one day? What's a little bit more to be able to take someone that I ain't never met that has been dying to go hunting.
Yeah.
So I think it's all worth it. That's why I try to be a part of it. Every meeting that there is, I try to go to. It's cool. And there's cool people. It's another fun thing to do.
I'm definitely joining you guys on the next one for sure.
For sure.
I gotta get that date.
I think the next one is. Are we in June?
Yep.
July 6th. I think
is it the 6th? I thought it was the 14th. 13th.
Oh yeah, man, I don't know. Don't listen to me. It's sometime in July between the 6th and the 16th.
All right, so we're gonna take it back real quick. I don't think Jonathan got a chance to answer his number one species that he would like to target.
I think my number one species is gonna be like, I would say probably a bufflehead. I think that's going to be my next number one species. And you can shoot them here in Florida, if you go, I think, Gulf Coast, Panhandle area and stuff like that.
My number one species, like I said earlier, was that long-tailed duck. Those things are super cool ducks. To me, the black and white, the bluish bill, it's just a cool, odd-looking duck with a long tail. Doesn't look much like any other duck.
Yeah.
But if I had a number one attainable duck that I could get here, that would make me super, super happy, probably happier than any other duck, would be, if it wasn't a banded mott, like we've seen a few times already. If it wasn't a banded mott, it'd be a wild greenhead here.
Yeah.
Now I'm
and it's
okay.
happened.
I'm okay with traveling somewhere north, going to the Panhandle to get me a wild greenhead.
I know a couple of guys here that have actually gotten them.
For me, I'll be real, real happy if I get me a Florida greenhead mallard.
Yeah. I want to get a pintail here. I really want to shoot a pintail.
Oh yeah, a pintail's up there. But for me, I think for me, the mallard, the greenhead mallard in Florida is like the elephant in the room.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So that's why I want to shoot.
I think that's for same case for the snow goose, because you get the straight, you see it 3-4 people post on Facebook that they get the snow goose down here. The awkward, oddball snow goose.
Oddball snow, yeah. There was one that got killed, I think, in Tampa Bay last year or something like that.
There was another one in Orlando, somewhere that area.
Exactly. Another
Green
one
Swamp.
Green Swamp.
Green Swamp, yep.
Wild.
Yeah.
Wild.
Yeah, I don't mind throwing that WMA out there. And it's nothing against the WMA. It's the fact that, listen, if you go get your snow goose at Green Swamp again, good for you.
Go
good
play the
you.
lottery.
No,
yeah, go
exactly. You should go play the lottery right there.
Exactly. The day you shoot that, and if it's banded, shoot yourself in the foot. Because see if you heal automatically, because you ain't got more luck than that.
Yeah.
What's your number one duck, Ron?
It would have to be a pintail.
Yeah,
for
yeah.
sure.
That's a cool
going
duck,
with the
man.
pintail. They're beautiful ducks. Mm-hmm. They're beautiful ducks.
We'll talk about a spot. There's a spot that Kenny. Shout out to Kenny Dick, our tattoo artist. He's cool
Kenny.
Dude.
But we haven't got a chance to talk about Kenny. But Kenny's somebody that hunts with John and Josh all the time, and this guy puts out some of the dopest Florida themed tattoos I've seen ever. Like, this guy's skill when it comes to tattooing is unmatched for sure.
Yeah, I like him. He's very professional, and he wants to save you money, and he wants to make money. So he's gonna put you through one sit. If you can hold through one sit,
you're golden. You're
saving money, and he's a good dude. He's a great guy to tattoo with. Got a heavy hand. He's gonna hurt you. He's gonna hurt you, but it's well worth it.
For sure.
Well worth it. He's gonna put out good prices for his tattoo.
But bringing it back to the pintail, so
he shot a pintail here in the state.
Yeah,
I gotta talk to him
I think it
about
was just
that.
a miracle. I think it was just a miracle.
And he said the sun was in his eyes, and he just saw
it was
extra dramatic.
It was
dramatic. The sun was in his eyes. Foggy morning.
It was a
the sun
foggy
was in
morning.
the eyes.
Exactly.
The funny part is I could hear Kenny telling this story.
Yeah.
Actually, if you look behind you, that's that marlin picture that's on that piece of log.
Oh, I got you. Yeah.
Is from Kenny.
That's dope. That's cool as hell.
Yeah, he has a piece of wood just like that.
I'm gonna
but I
take a
have
selfie. I'm gonna take a selfie
a
with
whistler.
it.
I have a whistler painted.
Kenny puts out some dope artwork, man.
Oh, dude, I love it. That's why I
love his artwork, bro.
I
It's
think
so good.
everybody here has been tattooed by Kenny.
Oh yeah,
now
you
that I
got
think about
tattooed
it,
by him?
yeah.
Let me see what you got.
18 years old, he did this script right
Wow,
here.
dude, he's been tattooing for a long time, man.
time.
I know a buddy of mine, Davey, that has a gator of his that tattooed on his kidney area. That Kenny did, and that tattoo's probably already 20 years old.
Yeah, it's insane. Kenny's got some history out there, man. There's a lot of people walking around with some Kenny artwork.
Oh, there's a lot of people walking around with Kenny artwork.
Especially if you're from South Florida, man. Everybody's heard about Kenny.
For sure.
Bringing it back to that, we brought up something a couple minutes ago. He was, I think it was Jonathan that was saying, if you kill a snow goose with a band on it, go play the lottery. Who here has killed something with a band on it?
I've
Nobody.
I've never shot anything.
Nobody.
I haven't.
I don't even have to ask you, Ron. I don't even have to ask you to say nobody because that's rare down here.
Yeah, it would be that lanyard that's behind my back right now. You would see it 100% on that lanyard.
I think the majority, if anybody wants to know what bands you're going to shoot down here, you're going to shoot a band on a model duck in Belglade or Jacksonville is where it's going to come from. I know where all of them are going to come from. I swear to God. You're either going to shoot a blue-winged teal from Saskatchewan, or you're going to shoot a wood duck from Jupiter or a local area close to you. Yeah, because there's more, for some reason, excuse me, for some reason there's more effort for certain people to put out wood ducks. For whatever reason there is, there's a little bit more, from my understanding, there's more wood duck hatcheries, I guess, or spots that people have their, where they ban the wood ducks. There's people who are enthusiasts, that raised wood ducks and stuff like that. They'll just go ahead and ban them, and they, I guess, become a part of the banding program. I don't know how that works. So, but yeah, you're gonna shoot a wood duck, a banded wood duck, a banded teal, or a banded mott. And if you shoot
100% in South Florida or Florida in general,
no, that's rare. Good luck shooting those. And if you shoot any other species with a band on it, go
play
ahead
the lottery.
and play the lottery. Yes.
yeah, that's definitely it's always been a goal of mine. Like I said, I've been hunting ducks ever since I was 18, so 12 years now. I kind of took a huge break in between that, especially when my son was born. I took a huge break on hunting in general, but yeah, man, I mean, it's always been that chase for the band. I don't know. It's just something about it. I know when the day comes, I might shed a tear, and I'm not the crying type.
Me too. I know John's going to cry like a sissy little girl, but I'm not. For me, honestly, I'm not. I don't think I'm hunting for a band. I'm just hunting for a good time.
Oh yeah, I mean,
overall, and that's what I'm there
sure.
for. Every time I go hunting, I'm not going there. There has not been one morning that I have paddled out or walked out and been like, this seems like the morning I'm going to shoot a band. Never once have I thought, am I ever going to shoot a band?
Same.
There was one time, and the one time that I did see a band on a mott, excuse me, and I'm not going to name the area that it was at. The one time that I did see it, it was in teal season. And I'm not going to disclose any people because so many people told me. Literally so many people told me this. Everybody. I'm pretty sure a game warden told me this. So we seen this banded mott land in our spread in the middle of teal season. Now, or actually the very beginning of teal season. Now, every duck in the world was flying that day. There was spoonbills flying. For some reason, they were heavy on the spoonbills. Now, not spoonies. I'm talking roseate spoonbills.
Right.
There were roseate spoonbills everywhere flying for some reason. Every bird in the sky was in the sky that day for whatever reason. And that mott landed in our spread. And we all, picked up our jaws out of the water. We picked up our mouth out of the water and we looked at each other and said that was a banded mott. That it landed in our spread and we didn't see it land with the band.
That's the second time I had seen that.
It took off and it showed its jewelry at us and we were just like speechless.
Yeah, we may never see that again.
We will know. I don't think I'll ever see it again. I'll tell you that. I did not expect that. I'll tell you one thing.
Literally everybody said that they would have shot it.
112% of people said they would have shot it, froze it, and mounted it during season.
And they kept the band and reported it.
The band and reported it in the middle of the season or on opening day or whatever it was.
I don't know. I that's one of those things that you lose sleep over. You know.
Yeah, for sure.
For sure. I still think about that duck.
I think about that.
I wasn't even there, and I'm thinking about it right now.
Yeah, and that's how. Like I said, that's happened to me twice. Like the first, I had a teal season where I was spent with Eric and another buddy Jeff, and we had a abandoned mott land right in. I mean, because it's
they're there in the area.
They're there.
They're there in the area.
You
know what I'm saying? So, but I'll tell you what. If it were up to me, I don't blame any of the people that told me that they would have shot it in teal season, stashed it, and took it out and mounted it or called in the band. I don't blame anybody.
Tell me otherwise.
But I'll tell you what. I didn't do it, and I'm better than you. I come to prove it. I didn't, and I'll tell you, little Jonathan Fleck didn't do it, and who was it? Kenny. Yep. Kenny was in our spread. Kenny Dick didn't do it either. So we're all honorable people. We didn't kill that banded mott during teal season. So I'm gonna.
We'll drink to that.
I'll do cheers to that. Cheers to that.
I got an empty bottle. I'll cheers to it. I drank all my beers. Sorry.
So on the topic of ducks, man, and just us being locals and. All three of us probably don't know if we'll be able to go to another state this year. I don't think anybody here has a hunt planned outside of the state.
I don't think so. I've been tossing around the idea. We didn't have a shitty hunt. We had a really good time in Arkansas, but one of our days was a washout, one of our 2 days. So we didn't get started as early as we wanted to. We still shot maybe like 2 or 3 ducks, but they gave us a day on the house, and I was thinking about making a weekend out of it and buying another day.
I would shout out the outfitter, but I don't know if they're cool with that because they gave us a hell of a disc for what we did. They know we came.
Yeah, we'll keep it disclosed for now.
1,200 miles to go hunt with them, and they were like, we realize that you guys had a shitty day. We'll give you one in the house.
That's badass.
When they
not many people will do that.
If they do allow me to say something about them on the podcast, which I'll ask the guide next time and explain what happened here. If he lets me, I'll shout him out.
But yeah, I mean, we might do that, but besides that, I don't know if we will. It's to me, it's going to be a good year to stay home.
Yeah, for sure.
In my opinion,
I think it's going to be a good season this year, boys.
Yeah.
I got a really good feeling.
Yeah, we got 2 hurricanes currently coming right.
Yeah, I think it's going to started early.
I think this hurricane season is going to be real active, and to me, in my opinion, I think hurricane seasons have a lot to do with our hunting season.
Yeah.
So that being
plays
said,
a major role.
If we have a real active hurricane season, and I'm not saying God forbid something bad happens.
Yeah, nobody wants that.
A bad storm comes through. That's not, knock on wood, that's not what I want to happen.
We didn't experience that on this coast, but many other people that we know on the West Coast.
My dad happened to move, right to Naples 3 months before that storm.
Yeah, I'm still working. I'm working on a house over there, man. The neighborhood that I'm in is still fucked up.
It got flooded.
It's crazy.
Like 5 feet of water. So, but that being said, when the storms mess up a lot of shit out here and mess up the woods out here, the ducks get confused, and not the ducks, the animals in general are kind of like scatterbrained a little bit, and it does better. Me and Jonathan hunted Big Cypress before one big storm that we had. I forgot the name of the storm. There's so many of them. Yeah. They just come and go. But we hunted, I think it was 2 days or a day before the storm hit. And Jonathan killed a deer that day. That deer was like mowing through the trees, and then I almost killed a deer that day too.
The following day,
so it was 2 days before the storm. I almost killed a deer the following day, and it just plowed through the woods, coming through like none of its business, like it was a bull in a china shop. You know what I'm saying? So it was like, to me, I think the hurricanes, they're not good for us. Nature has a good way of cleaning itself, in my opinion, if that's the way that I see it. Now, it's a pure opinion, but nature has a good way of cleaning itself, and it's better for hunters and fishermen when they come around and they happen. They change shit.
Oh, shit. I got a new photo on my camera.
Oh, he got a new photo on his trail cam.
I hope it's not just wind, because if it's just wind, I'm going to be really disappointed.
For those of you that don't know, they were out in a WMA not too far from here and set some cameras. This is a big moment.
I don't see much, to be honest. Yeah, light right in the. Oh.
That's a game warden at your camera.
Could be a bug up at the top in the middle.
Oh, I thought that was the moon. Yeah, no, that could be a bug.
I think a bug just activated. What a
well, at least that's not a disappointment. You know it's
at
working.
Least it's working. Yeah,
it's working. How many times you set a camera and you're like, damn, I don't know if that motherfucker working.
I don't know if I even turned it on.
I hope I hit the right button.
I don't know how many times I've left the woods and us be like an hour out, and Jonathan be like, "Yo, bro, I don't know if this bitch is running." and then we get he's stressing about it the entire way home, and we get home and it ding ding ding, and he gets 3 pictures. Like, I bet.
Well, I switched cameras, so that's why.
As far as hunts go, for anybody here, what's everybody trying to pull this year? What's everybody's goal as far as where they want to?
I'll tell you what I did pull, and I'm not afraid to say the permits that I pulled because everyone has an equal opportunity to be able to pull these permits.
And we're only going to be hunting against 125 other people.
So I pulled my 3 Lakes Prairie Lakes unit archery hunt, but I returned it because
so go apply for it, y'all. If y'all are shooting phase 2,
it's coming in hot.
Yeah, it's probably going to be coming in hot. So be on the lookout for that permit. I returned that permit, like I was saying to you earlier, for my general gun Picayune strand because now I usually wouldn't do this. I would make the move to pick the archery hunt, but my buddy Eric has a buggy. He's been working on it a lot. He's like someone that I was saying about earlier. That is he's big. He's a big hunter.
Yeah,
that boy hunts. I give it to him. Eric is a hunter, and the reason he has his buggy is to hunt. But for this particular instance and circumstance, for him, I think the buggy, the hunt is about the buggy. You know what I'm saying? And I thought, he's one of our best friends. He's like a brother to us, another Cuban brother of ours. And I know he has this buggy, and I know he's been wanting to run it. And Corbett is kind of like, everyone can run their buggy at Corbett. But what about a quota, man? How about we run your buggy at a quota? So I pulled Picayune. Jonathan happened to pull Picayune for not the following weekend after, but the weekend following that one. So we're like, screw it. Let's see what Eric's buggy can do. Let's see what we can do.
Why not? And put it to the test.
Yeah. We hunted Picayune for the first time last season. We've been kind of brushing it by because a lot of people have been hunting it because it wasn't a quota hunt. But now that it's a quota hunt, and it's always been a general
archery
for archery, yeah. But now that it's a general gun quota hunt, now that it's an archery quota hunt, and it's always been a general gun quota hunt, we're like, we pulled it. We pulled 2 weekends. Let's take the buggy out there. Eric's got a buggy, and Eric is so down and so about it. So I was like, well, you know what? I'm glad I returned the Prairie Lakes. I know quite a bit about Prairie Lakes. I've hunted 2 or 3 permits there, including turkey, which was a fucking wild, but I didn't shoot turkey. But I opted to return it because I know, and I've been waiting for an archery permit for that too. But I was like, but I'd rather relish it with my homies.
Yeah, for
we
sure.
We could take both
it's
the
all
girlfriends.
About the memories, man.
Exactly. We could take both the girlfriends out. We could, me and my brother can hunt. Or 2 of us can hunt. Eric can drive his buggy and enjoy himself. We can take the girlfriends out, and have a good time on a buggy. We're not necessarily buggy hunters, and we're not big in buggy hunting. But if I have the opportunity and I can do it, fucking why not? I'm gonna have a buggy eventually.
For sure.
Eventually I'm gonna get one or something to get me out there. So might as well do a little bit of practice. But I have a wild hog hunt at 3 Lakes Prairie Lakes, and right now I have the general gun at Picayune Strand, and
I have general gun at Picayune Strand. I'm going to hunt archery over there too. I pulled Arbuckle for muzzleloader, and then I pulled Addition Lands as well for archery. So I have
all decent.
All decent for sure.
All decent.
Pretty good.
So I mean, I think all the ones that he pulled take at least 2 preference points. You know what I'm saying? So you have to have at least 2 years of applying to pull them. You know what I'm saying? I'm not going to give you no spot or any of my spots.
Yeah, for sure.
And I'll give you my spot, Ron. You want to go hunting out there and you pull a quota, you know where to apply now. But yeah, these are all places, especially if you're down here in Palm Beach County, you're going to be looking at these quotas and you're going to be like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Where are you going? Why is everywhere at least 2.5 hours away? You know, but that's the price you're going to pay. You're going to pay your 30, 40, and God forbid you're driving a big old truck. You're going to be paying your 60, 70, $80 in gas
for sure
to get out there. You know, what do you drive? I didn't see what you were driving.
Silverado.
So you already know. So you already know. You know, thankfully, I'm driving a 4-banger Jeep Cherokee right now. So I actually fill my tank with less than $40 at the moment. And I'll go 240 some odd miles with that, and I'll be good. But I'm paying my $40. Some people are paying their $50. Some people are paying their $20. You know,
me and
whatever
Ron
it is.
are taking like $80.
Exactly. You guys are paying your $80 a tank. You're paying, but that's the price you're going to pay to be able to hunt. You know what I'm saying? Which is why I have no problem telling people, you want to go apply? You know, let's see who wakes up at 5 o'clock in the morning after they've been there for fucking 2 days.
Josh waking up at 3 o'clock in the morning.
Oh, dude, our regular time to wake up, I think we average between 1:30 and 3 o'clock.
Yeah, you guys, I literally watch your stories.
Yeah, 1:30 and 3 o'clock.
It's insane times.
And you wake up, you're like, damn, been up for like, holy crap, like 2 hours already, and I'm just getting up.
Yeah, shit. I'm just getting out to my tree stand. I'm looking at my story, and these guys have been out driving for the last 2 hours. So I don't mind sharing the intel. I'm not going to give you an Onyx pinpoint. You know, shout out to Onyx. I love using that fucking app.
Same.
But
it is a lifesaver. Shout out to Onyx.
But I'm not going to give you my pins. The only people I give my pins are people that hunt with me. You know what I'm saying? And you're going to have to work harder than that. You know, and that's the name of the game, because I know there's people. Speaking of Prairie Lakes, I went and I had scouted out a spot there. And I was looking at that spot. I was like, oh, I know this spot. I'm good. We get there, and we didn't see nothing. We went to a different spot. I had seen a turkey there. A turkey came out, and I had turned around to tell my brother, and turned back around, and the turkey was
gone.
Gone completely. And I look at my brother, and he was like, you should have just shot it without saying nothing. But we're looking on Instagram afterwards, and someone had shot a turkey. The shot that we had heard was in the spot that I had wanted to post up at, you know. So, and then we scouted there earlier in the season. Jonathan put up a camera where all the turkeys were hanging. Literally, all the turkeys were hanging out. What happens? The first hunt comes around. Someone sits in front of his camera, puts a hat over it.
Wow.
And sat.
You don't know what you're going to get on public land.
And sat
here.
in front of their camera. So you think you're getting some good intel coming to my permit? Go apply. And you're going to see what you're going to run into. Public land, what? This land is my land. This land is my land.
It is not for the weak down here, man.
Because it's mine.
Exactly. But get ready to share. We bumping elbows. That new song Luke Bryan made, Knocking Boots, you get ready for that.
Yeah, man. I mean, I applied for so many quotas this season, and so far, phase 1, nothing's gone
Dude,
through.
I do so well in quotas, I honestly do think that
I
it's
usually
rigged.
do, but this year.
I do think that it's rigged.
I do well on quotas, but I have a method behind it that I follow, and I believe that's the key to it, and that's what I'm sticking to, and I'm not going to tell nobody.
I was going to say, I know he's not sharing that.
I'll let you know the information, but I ain't putting that on air for everybody. No, that's my bread and butter. That decides for those 4. Maybe if I pull 4 in a year, that decides for 4 days or 4 weekends out of the hunt season what I'm doing.
Shit,
for
in my instance, it's a whole ass month with 1 quota.
Yeah, exactly.
But if I did pull a quota this year, it would definitely be Dupree. I love that. I'm not
that
afraid
place.
I
love
say
that
it.
place. I just love walking through that place.
I just love going there. Going there is fun.
It's like straight out of like an Outdoors Channel fucking episode.
Yeah.
That's the only way I could explain it.
That's what I would picture if somebody said wild. Like, not wild Florida, but somebody said like
Old Florida.
Someone
said old Florida. To me, if someone said old Florida, what I think of is that driving 29 from one end to the other.
Yeah.
That's what I think.
Nothing but farmland.
Nothing but farm, nothing. You run into Big Cypress, you eventually run into the lake. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, old Florida. Bring old Florida back.
For real. A lot of us could ask for that, man.
I wish, man. Stop building. If you hear me out there, stop building.
We've got a "we're full" sign at the
Turn
border.
Turn around, please.
Go home.
Yeah, go home. You can come to visit, but go home. Make sure you go home. come on vacation and leave on probation.
You never know what you're going to get in Florida, man. It doesn't matter what part you're in, the Panhandle, South Florida, Central Florida.
Exactly.
I mean,
We wildin' out
we
here.
wilded.
We
Florida
wildin'
man
out.
exists for a reason. But all right, guys, we're running a little bit over time here, but it was great having John
Hell
and
yeah,
Josh.
man. Thanks for having me.
Thank you for having me, bro.
I can't
was
wait
great.
until we do this again. This is definitely not the last episode you guys are going to hear from them. I mean,
sure, bro.
there's so many topics that we talked about before this season or this episode even started, and we're definitely going to go down that lane for sure.
Yeah, we
For
ain't
sure.
done.
I'm
We ain't
gonna
done.
start sending you. Something's gonna pop in my head. I'm gonna send you a topic. We're gonna have a good, at least 2 or 3 more podcasts on here.
But you guys got the Instagram tags. I'm going to drop those in the description below. And this is Journeyman Outdoors, and we're out.
Great. That was awesome.